I'm starting the stream.
Okay.
And I will share Syrinscape as soon as I find a Discord window. There we go. Too many windows. So it's unfortunate really that Pots and Mublets can't make this session because I'm actually on holiday for a week. So this is one of the ones where I would have been able to stay up later, do more. Oh, I set up all the windows, but then I added Syrinscape. Alright. No, I still need to think.
I feel like Potts normally prefers them to be on time because he has other things to do.
That's true. Though last time you guys wanted more.
Yeah, last time. Depends, because I thought it was going to be a nice quick arena. You know?
Don't think.
Yeah, no.
Combat can't really get quick.
Combat can't really get quick.
Are you doing that thing again?
Are you doing that thing again?
Stop it.
Are you doing
Sammy?
Stop it. Sammy,
It's
To be
horrible.
fair, I was checking that the sound was working and it could pick everyone up.
Well, it sure can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible echoes hammering through my speakers.
No, Sammy, what are you doing? Sammy, what are you doing? Sammy, what are you doing? Fine. No, you can't leave.
Mao! You don't understand. I said Mao.
I think you misunderstand the situation, human. This is not a question.
No, you're right.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not asking for permission. I'm informing you that I'm leaving.
This has happened.
Yeah, you are in the way. Please act accordingly.
Release me from this prison. So that I
Thing is,
immediately may insist on entering again.
I was going to say, as soon as I go near him, he'll run back in the room first of all, but also he will then immediately ask to come back in. So I'm calling his bluff.
All
And
in your
she's not happy
bluff.
about it.
Okay.
I don't believe you!
I think that's fixed it. Look at that. You'll.
Now let me just change my position.
Good enough, at least, anyway. Oh, I do wish OBS would have better plugins with Discord and just be like, I want to pick up this webcam and put it here. But no, it's like, I want to pick up this piece of the screen. And then if that piece moves around, then it's just game over.
See, I fucking... Sorry. As soon as I started getting up to go to the door, he immediately walks back in.
And now, Baruch, it's time for you to turn on your webcam.
Maybe. The problem is that I'm currently on the computer that does not have a webcam, which makes things a bit more complicated to turn it on.
Weren't you using like your works webcam or something or whatever?
Normally I was, yeah. Today I just couldn't be bothered to turn it on because unfortunately I had to work yesterday and I'd like to not see my work laptop at least once a week.
Oh, you
Fair.
worked on a Saturday. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's what happens when the data doesn't agree on a project from 3 weeks ago.
Oh dear. That doesn't sound so good.
Ooh. Nickobler, stand up for a second. What's on your shirt?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? This was actually a gift from two members of my team.
The ones that you didn't realize.
Yeah. So fun story. There's a company called QWERTY who they do like custom unusual t-shirts that you can only buy for basically that day and then it's gone forever. It's really cool. So I went through a phase of regularly buying those because I'm a sucker. And so I'd be regularly getting just random t-shirts coming through the mail, and then one popped through and I didn't remember ordering. I was like, oh, that's a nice surprise. I must have completely forgotten about buying this one. And then, yeah, it turned out they'd gotten it for me for my birthday. And then about a month later, after my birthday, they were like, so did you get it? Did you get the t-shirt? I was like, no. What t-shirt? Because I'd forgotten about that instance. So then they went on and had a massive go at the company saying, you never sent it, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, no.
So long story short, I have 2 of these t-shirts.
I mean, you'd think that if you're going to get someone a gift, you'd put some kind of note to say, happy birthday from blah, 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 rather than just sending something in the mail from a company you constantly buy.
Yeah, they should have addressed it to themselves and then given it to me rather than addressed it to me. Because, how would I...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in theory, I should know what I've ordered, but no.
Yeah,
That's a lot of effort.
if they don't know that you constantly buy from the same place, it would have come as a surprise nonetheless.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's something you have been doing almost every month anyways, you just I can see reasoning.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, it made for a good story, and it is one of my favourite T-shirts. I love all things Futurama, and it's just lovely that they got me something for my birthday because nobody ever gets it.
Futurama with a Fallout mix, which is
Yeah, I
lot of
was
people-
about to say my initial look in that is, oh, that's a Fallout guy. Only after you notice that, yeah, it's Fry with money.
Yeah, it depends on where your perspective is coming from. Yes, it combines two of my favourite things. Yeah.
Have you announced our presence on?
No, I haven't done any of that yet. Actually, let me do that.
Adult places proper.
I've announced it on various people's accounts, but the remainder is all down to you, Samuel.
Have you the everything is fine?
No.
Right, I'll do that now.
Because currently we have one viewer that's a little pathetic, not gonna lie.
It's not me. Well, oh yeah, we do have an video now. Yeah, no, I just see the broadcasters. There's no one here except for me and Sam watching himself.
Watching myself.
I mean, I'm there, so it's clearly a little slow.
Maybe it doesn't count us because I'm a moderator on there.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So-
up to 2.
There you go.
Oh, that'll be you then. Yeah, it just says I cast summon friends and I cast summon friends. There's nobody else on there. Yeah, whatever.
All right. There we go. Probably 2 viewers is just me and Wait, it doesn't actually list the users in the chat. It's got me. Anyway, so
I could hop on, then we'll have 3.
Oh my god!
Right, let me just get up some music.
The last time I sent a link through to my family, so my dad I
Oh,
sent it. Is it a bit loud?
why does this always happen?
Oh, I'm Lyroon now.
No.
Yeah, the last time I sent the link through, my dad I sent it through at 6, and then my dad logged on at 9:30 and was like, "Where are you?" I was like, "Dude, I sent this to you 3.5 hours ago.
How
We're
long
done."
do you think we're going for?
Someone joined our server. Someone joined our server with a picture of a dog as a profile picture. They're a good person.
Wait, what?
Well, it's
What's
not
up?
cats, unfortunately.
How can you see? I can't. It doesn't show
not-
me
not
any.
our
No,
server.
sorry,
Magic
Magic and Misfits. I apologize in referencing the Forbidden Place.
How dare thee mention something I have no input on?
Then you should join. It's a very logical situation. It's
Maybe once all my exams and shit are over, and then I will join potentially.
Oh really?
When's that?
I said potentially and leave me alone. Don't ask again.
yeah.
Too late.
no. You don't understand how I work. You know.
So you're joining next week, right?
Yeah.
Insidious.
Y'all.
Look, I
Y'all too
just
much.
keep asking until I eventually get my way. It's a simple process.
The thing is, I know I'd end up being one of the players that everybody sat waiting around for because I just forget to check it or, be doing other things.
So you're a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't want to be a
typical player.
lot of people. I don't want to be average Joe.
Average Sam. Alright. I think we're about ready to start. Unless there's anything else?
None I can think of.
A couple technical questions. How many items am I attuned to currently?
Oh.
Just the way.
You've got your... Yeah.
I've got gloves and +1 weapon, but can I be attuned to both of them at the moment? Given that it was a single 1 hour rest in between.
Oh, the +1 doesn't require attunement. They're just pick
Nope.
up and go.
Ah,
Yeah,
Well
swords
done.
are overpowered. Nut gobbler.
Yeah,
Gosh, snap.
the sword you just pick up and you can just start swinging with it, which is an interesting mechanic. If you're in some kind of crazy boss fight and they've got a +3 sword, you can just take it off their hands and start using it.
Wait, is it for all of them?
All +1 weapons, yeah. +2,
Ah.
+3 as well, yeah. They just pick up and go.
That is lovely.
Yeah. It's it's basically the caster items that require attunement. So yeah, you've got your gauntlets of ogre power as well. In fact, let's do the catch up so you can see what's been going on. So today it's just the top row. We've got firstly, welcome to iCast Summon Friends. Today it's just the top row of players taking part. So it'll be Buruk, the fighter, battlemaster, hobgoblin, Ravenous, the warlock of the Great Old One, tiefling of questionable morals, and Lyroon, the monk of the Path of Mercy, who is an elf. So
are the morals questionable? I think they're pretty clearly negative. But
Yeah.
that's just me.
yeah,
I think they're questionably great.
yeah. Yes, they are questionable.
Unquestionably great.
No, I like the first one better.
I'm gonna question that one.
Yeah.
So
No questions allowed. Hold your questions till the end.
So we got just for you today. Nanto has had his COVID vaccination, which is causing his head to try and implode, and Hazer has nondescript other things. The story so far. You did the forge the hero test to see if you're ready to go out into the field. Then you murdered some living pumpkins. You went shopping. You went into the sewers to go rescue a bunch of kids that had been taken by the Crimson Cleavers. You went shopping again. You saved Danny DeFito from the sewers and then made sure he got arrested. You met the Duchess of Daggerford. You went out and slayed some living corn. Working corn.
We went out and creamed some corn, actually.
Creamed some corn. There we go. Cue all the jokes. It's generally you've been seeing that you've been picking up the story that there's this druid going around delivering these crystals of corruption to various farmsteads in exchange for money. A decent amount of money, but those crystals, while he promises that they will encourage considerable growth, usually result in, I mean, he's true to his word, but yeah, that considerable growth takes quite a nasty turn quite quickly. And so there's been a bunch of refugees flooding into Daggerford over the last few weeks. You've got a tip that at Harvest Close Festival, there'll be a contact who is coming to meet what would have been the Crimson Cleavers to find out, to exchange, I think it was, some information, some coin, some rewards for what they've been up to, and you are going to try and intercept them. But that's sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just about to say it's a bit awkward that we are finding some nondescript druid when we have a somewhat shaded druid right by our sides.
Yeah, maybe it's him. It's the ultimate reveal. So, you've got a couple of days until Harvest Close Festival. You've come back from your corn adventure. Interestingly, both the characters that have long rest spell mechanics aren't available for this arena fight, and it's all the people who get everything back on short rests who are around, so that works out quite well.
Short rest.
Yes, take your short rests. You've got your slots back. Buruk's got all of his various fighter mechanics back. Lyron's got all his key back. And you decided to, you've got an evening free. You're picking up the last arena fight of the day. And you just walked into the arena. The crowd was quite raucous. It was quite late in the day, so some of them are pretty damn drunk. I think I made a reference to cricket and you all accused me of being posh. So baseball. It's like later a baseball game. You just made your way in. So if I stop rhythm, this time Syrinscape, which I'll be using for sound effects because epic games need epic sound. Syrinscape's providing music, so we'll see how that works.
Oh, I didn't know Syrinscape provided music.
Yeah. So hopefully you can hear that. Maybe
I can.
I'll watch the stream, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. There.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy. Come here, buddy.
You had walked into the arena and there were you'd been given two choices of what to fight. You'd been given whether you wanted to fight giants or smelly gnolls, and you selected gnolls because it worked out so well for you last time.
Although strangely, these gnolls are referred to as kobolds quite a few times.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah, as long as they're not referred to as skull goblins, be fine with it. If that happens, it gets difficult.
And
Hey, brother, how you doing? Oh, hey, Frank.
and so as you made your way in, Nanto and Hazer, they see a couple of the other gnolls across the way, instantly lock eyes, and there's just sort of a nod of understanding, and almost wordlessly, some of them walk off into a side entrance to go pursue some kind of relationship. Leaving.
Oh, wow.
All the way
to
describe
that.
it.
What a turn of events.
Leaving just
All right.
4 gnolls with you 3, and one of which is riding atop of a giant hyena. I needed some reason that some gnolls and some of you left, which is quite hard to justify.
I don't really know what kind of relationship that Nanto would form with these gnolls.
A very deep and meaningful one, I'm sure.
A culinary one. He finally found someone who can't refuse tasting his beautiful food.
So I think you guys all rolled your initiatives last time, right?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me
And
just...
yeah, I just wanted to double check one more bit. Currently, my chart sheet says I'm at 7 HP, which is a touch low.
Yeah,
Have we had
it's
a short
different from
rest
mine.
today already?
Yeah, you've
We
had your short
have.
rest, so you can basically take all your health back, so you won't be having another fight today.
I'm
don't
just
really
thinking if
understand,
we
'cause
had
mine-
one before today. Because I think that we had one on which I already regen some health.
I think we did one on the way there as well as the way back.
Oh yeah, I think that was just to regenerate like a key point and a spell.
Yeah, in that case, I'm just putting it back to full, I think. Or rather, let me double check whether I'm putting that back to full.
So my question is, why is on my D&D Beyond sheet I'm at full health, but in Discord I'm at 23 of 27.
What you do in Discord doesn't influence your sheet.
Yeah. So how do I get my health points back? Plus also I have 33 health points, not 27 like Discord seems to think.
Right, so you need to exclamation point update. Sorry, I should have done the initiatives in advance, given I knew what was coming.
Ooh.
Just trying to recall all the short rest moves.
So yeah, initiative wise, where did it all go? I just had it up. Here we are. So, So it goes me, Lyra, and Baruch.
So what was yours, Ravenous?
I think it's up further up. Where did it go?
We've got sleight of hand
Maybe
checks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, there it is. It's the 1d20 plus 3, so you got 15.
Mm.
So Ravenous was 15. Baruch got nat 2 for a total of 3.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And
Lyra got 8.
Lyra got 8. So it's actually the Gnolls that will be getting to go first, because they rolled a lot better than you.
Well, whatever.
There we go. So let me get up. So actually, it's fine. There we go. So I change the OBS scene to combat. Immediately screws up all the cameras. That's fine. I'll work that out at a later time. So for now, we'll just have to deal with only seeing Lyrian's face.
What a delight.
So this is what you see. So you've been, so some of your companions, some of the Gnolls lock eyes across the room and immediately leave together, leaving the rest of you, the 3 of you and 5 of the Gnoll combatants in there. So you got one who looks particularly quite scary looking. He's got his fangs dripping with what might be horrible essences, and his skin seems quite like blue and fetid, almost mouldy looking. You got one that looks like very similar Gnoll to the ones he had fought before quite a while ago, but he's riding on top of a giant hyena. You got one who's got pretty sadistic smile on his lips, and he's sort of growling and looking quite manic-eyed towards you, and you can actually see there's flecks of blood around his mouth. And then you got one that's got a giant it's called a glaive, which is essentially a spear with a sword on the end, and he seems to be sort of barking out orders to the other ones, pointing at them and gesturing as they get into position. So for reference, that one's called so yeah, you got Gnoll Bossy, Gnoll Scary, Gnoll Bitey. Oh yeah, regular Gnoll. So it should be a regular Gnoll as well.
Regular Gnoll? Regular Gnoll?
Could you hover with your mouse over which ones they are as you say them?
Yeah, so that one's Scary. Regular Gnoll is riding the hyena.
Okay.
Bitey Gnoll is here. The other Bitey Gnoll is here. And that's Bossy Gnoll.
Bossy Gnoll.
Bossy Gnoll. So regular Gnoll also rolled fantastically well.
They can all just shove it. Jeez.
Gnoll regular. So,
Kitty, please. Please no.
So you walk into the arena, as I say, the crowd's pretty raucous because it's quite late in the day. I'm not actually liking the music that Syrinscape's provided for this.
Don't say that, they won't sponsor us.
A question about the map. Those hay bales, how much cover do they provide?
Yeah, they provide...
Chest high cover.
Yeah, basically, yes. So it's half cover. Rather than 3/4 cover. So let me just put up my own music playlist because I think that'll be better. Ambience. What do you want, Wild West or regular?
Let's go with Wild West.
Definitely Wild West.
Unanimous. Alright, Kitty, you can sit there, it's fine. I'll allow
I'm
it.
fine with either.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Okay, that's a lot more West Wild.
So we left off. You just walked into the arena, as I say. Some of your companions walk off out of a side exit, and leaving you to face these what Gnolls remain. So first up is regular Gnoll, who is mounted atop of the giant hyena. So I think the way it works with mounts is that you can basically direct them on your turn. So he directs them. Go for it. What are you going to say, Pat?
Depends on if it's an intelligent mount or not. The Gnoll would count as an intelligent mount, but it's entirely up to you.
Does the giant hyena count as intelligent? It's not like got...
They do?
I don't know. No, very, very much so not intelligent. It's got intelligence of 2. So what were you going to say, Vlad? Is it means that they can't act on your turn?
Never mind. I'm too tired.
I would argue that if you're riding a mount, you have enough control to want to ride that mount. Most likely you can control it to some extent.
Yeah. For the sake of convenience. So, giant hyena, it's got decent movement speed, so he's going to start galloping. So he gallops out. Ooh. So as soon as as soon as things are ready to go, he starts galloping forward. So he moves forward 5 feet and then leaps over the hay bale, which does stick out as difficult terrain, so it eats up a bit of movement. So it's 5, 10, 15, 25, 35. But it still easily gets him within range of you both. So he's going to go for Lyroon, because that looks like the squishier target, unarmoured monk, and immediately swings with his... I should know this better. It's a regular Gnoll have, just a spear. So he's got a spear in hand, and he just immediately is thrusting forward, almost like it's a lance, charging towards Lyroon. Yeah, and that's definitely a hit. So, and just lances forward and just takes Lyroon straight in the shoulder, and it's just a spear point stabbing in deep, gouging through his flesh. One day I'll consistently get the gender right.
Fine.
You take 6 piercing damage.
6.
Yeah.
Quite a number.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
And we're dead
Will you make
already.
it?
Nope. I am dead. I'm a level 1 wizard, man.
That is a thing. So
With negative con modifier.
next up is the bossy Gnoll, who starts striding forward, gets into position behind one of the hay bales. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You're just going to move into cover behind one of the hay bales. And true to his title, he's going to start being bossy. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Actually, he has to move to here to be able to do this. So true to his title, he starts just pointing a finger and yapping in this incomprehensible language, because none of you speak Gnoll, towards actually the rider who had just charged towards you all. And immediately the rider just snaps his head around to look at him and gives another nod and starts thrusting forward with his spear again towards Lyroon.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very annoying.
Rude.
And gets a nat 20.
You're just against Lyroon, aren't you?
Yeah, just really hate Lyroon.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's
Just not good
that's
enough.
not fair.
So again, he's just thrusting forward with that spear straight towards Lyroon, and he tries to twist away and slap aside the spear, but unfortunately, as he tries to slap aside the spear, actually what ends up happening is it just impales straight through his hand, and it's a pretty grim, vicious blow for a monk to take. You take 13 piercing damage. Painful, very painful. So next up is Gnoll Scary.
So they all roll better than us.
Pretty much. Your Ravenous was the only one to beat one of them.
Yay!
Yeah. So we should see 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, so basically can only get to there. So he's just Gnoll Bitey, well actually Gnoll Scary, sorry this is. Yeah. Charges forward as fast as he can, and he's just charging across the arena sands, leaps over the hay bale just to your side, and crashes the other side of it, and starts running towards Lyroon with all the speed he can muster, but doesn't quite manage to get close enough to be able to start swiping. So that's a dash action. So that's as far forward as he's able to get. Next up is the giant hyena, which also rolled better than you. You guys rolled really badly. I think I need to turn up rhythm. I can't quite hear the cowboy music.
Oh, I can.
It's quite alright.
That's the beauty of rhythms. We can each customize it to the audio level we want. So, the giant hyena is also going to go for the squishy looking target. But that'll be a miss. Growls, raising on its haunches, and it just snaps forward with its more open and just tries to snap down on Lyroon's ankle, but the ever agile monk just lifts it out of the way, getting out the line of danger in the last moment. But as it is, Lyroon's pretty wounded, down to 19 out of 38 hit points. So, next up is... I need to keep this list pinned. There we go. Ravenous.
Me! Okay, Hunger of Hadar. On around Bossy Gnoll and the one at the bottom, if I can catch him in it as well.
Okay. So, Hunger of Hadar, remind me, is that 20-foot radius or diameter?
Hunger of Hadar is... Hunger of Hadar! 150... Oh,
no, that's a little...
Please
what's
no.
20...
radius. 150 radius.
20 feet.
Radius
Circle.
or diameter?
Sphere. Diameter.
You sure?
Circumference.
It says D, 1M, 20 foot, and then a sphere, and then VSM.
That's not...
Only some of those are relevant information. It's a 20-foot radius sphere, which means it's 40-foot diameter.
Which means it's big.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. So you see the purple ring on the map right now?
Oh, hell!
That's how big it is.
Cool.
It's
Amazing.
basically the difference between me being a bit annoyed by it and utterly terrified by it.
So where did you want it?
Cat's being rude. I want it to
What do you expect?
Shut up! My cat's the best, even if he is rude. So I want it over the bottom Gnoll and bossy Gnoll.
Okay, like that.
G, high five. Give me a high five. Do it. Do it.
No, he just tries to bite you instead. Okay, so like that.
Yeah, that'll do. Just don't catch any of the audience in it. They might not be very happy about that.
Yeah, that's fine. So there only catches them. So okay, so no immediate effects other than it just spawns. Damage happens on their turns. Yeah, cue the slurping
And whispers.
So yeah, Ravenous, do you do any movement?
Just raise a hand in the air, like as if I'm like a Kamehameha, just kind of like up in the air, like. Ooh.
No, I mean like running away.
No, sorry, I mean spirit ball. That's what I think I meant.
But do you do any physical like feet movements?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'll move to the Hebel 2 hour east. Yeah.
There or there?
There.
Okay.
Okay, this is a brief aside, but I always hate when someone says there or there because your response is there.
There.
Which one was it?
Yeah. There or here?
The second one.
Exactly.
I just wait until he puts it in the right place and then say it.
Yeah.
A or B, 1 or 2, but anything other than there or there. Just
My favourite is when you ask a question which doesn't allow a yes or no response, but then someone says yes.
I go for a yes always if either option works.
Yeah, it's would you like this or this? Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Also, a very aside, but your circle is eight tiles wide but 7 tiles high.
Ooh.
I did think it was a little bit oblong.
Lopsided circle.
I've been staring at it and trying to figure out why I don't like it.
20, 25, 30. Yes, right you are. It should be like that.
Well,
There you go.
now it's even a bit bigger, and Burk likes it even less.
It's even closer to him. So yeah, Ravenous just holds out her arms, and then just over on the other side of the arena, there's a sudden. It's like. Oh, actually, no. I remember how Ravenous does it. She holds out her hands, and
It's the tentacles.
yeah, little white tentacles start wriggling from her fingertips, and then they'll fly outwards and rocket across the arena, and then they'll slam together, and this dark, cold, horrible white space starts opening up. This vortex opens up between the bossy Gnoll and one of the bitey Gnolls, and starts spreading outwards, and these white milky tentacles start flailing within it, and yeah, there's this slurping noises and whispering noises that start, and you can see all of the crowd nearby just sort of edging backwards away, just like that's unsettling.
In important philosophical question, right? And gnolls are known for their intelligence. It's pretty well known. And you can't see anything within that sphere. No magical light, illuminates it. So they would have absolutely no idea which direction is the easiest way out, yes?
Yeah, this is something I do before, actually. So I usually end up just rolling a dice to figure out which way they would run. In this instance, they do know where the arena walls were, so they'll have that to guide them. But they don't know if left or right is better, for example. And now we're in SpongeBob.
I like SpongeBob.
SpongeBob fight. So next up is the bitey Gnolls. So bitey Gnoll over here, 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay. So you can get about there. Other bitey Gnoll. Oh wait, no, sorry. And then he dashes. I think he's going to... Hang on, where was he? 5, 10, 25, 30. So he does manage to get over to Ravenous' side by dashing. Meanwhile,
Why are you like this?
the other bitey Gnoll, I need to work out which direction.
Wait. He started in the thing, so he takes damage of 4.
4 damage.
Yep.
No, that's hex damage.
Sorry, ignore that. Okay, Hunger of Hater. He takes 6 damage.
Okay. 6 damage to bitey Gnoll. Number 2. So bitey Gnoll number 2, yeah, exactly as you described, lad. He's inside the Hunger of Hadar. It's just absolute darkness all around him, and he has no idea really which way is the way out. And all he knows is that he's got the arena wall behind him. So let's just see which way he runs. Cool. So he decides to try running north. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Yeah, so he dashes, he's sprinting for all the distance he can manage, and he keeps getting tripped up by these milky white tentacles rubbing all over his ankles as he runs, and doesn't quite manage to get his way out of it. So unfortunately, he's taking a second batch of Hunger of Hadar damage. So another 2d6, I believe.
As the tentacles rub up against him.
His ankles, specifically. Just lapping across his body and whispering sweet nothings into his ear. Oh dear.
That is the most detailed description of an ability I could imagine.
Cool.
So how much damage is that?
6. I just rolled it again.
Another 6.
Well, yep.
Okay.
A 4 and a 2. That equals 6. I can do math. Yeah.
Nice.
Plus does it for me.
Also nice.
Okay, so that puts him. He's bloodied. Only Ravenous is able to see it, but because she can see through the magical darkness. But yeah, he's those milky tentacles rubbing up against his ankles. You can see where they've rubbed up against him is just this acid burns and smoke starting to rise from his bubbling flesh. And yeah, then the coldness of space is starting to sort of leave frost covering his fur as well. He's not in a good way.
Awesome.
Good work. He's not even able to do anything. All he could do is just run and be hurt. So
and then he'll have to roll again to see if he can get out.
Yeah.
He might just run straight back into it.
No, well, I think you'll just carry on trying to run in the same direction. So next up is Lyroon.
Cool beans. So, to the south of me is a regular Gnoll on top of a hyena, and to the left of me is a scary Gnoll.
Scary Gnoll. So it's yeah, it looks kind of corrupted, I would say.
Fiendish.
Yeah, possibly.
I think I asked that last week. I think I was just gonna punch the regular Gnoll. He stabbed me.
What the heck?
That was me.
Can we have some more battle-y music rather than like a slow horse fight? We
are on a cart full of hay. There's a very lazy farmer riding it and driving it. 2 horses which are way past their prime. But it's a good life.
It's a good life.
I'm assuming an 18 hits.
Yeah. Who are you hitting?
Regular Gnoll. Regular Gnoll.
Alright, so...
I'm assuming the same 18 hits.
Yeah.
Ooh, what about a 14?
Yes, because he is... so normally Gnolls have a shield and spear, but this one is riding atop a hyena and is just using his spear as like a lance, so... Yeah, AC is 14.
Nice. This is not a hand of harm, this is a hand of healing.
Huh?
Wonderful rolling.
Oh, you're healing yourself, gotcha.
Sure am. Nah, I'm healing the Gnoll, man. So yeah, Lyroon lunges forward at the mounted Gnoll, desperate to bring it down before it gets another swing at him. So it's trying to also avoid the maws of the hyena. So it's a punch, then punch, steal essence.
Nice. So yeah, Lyroon, who just been stabbed in the shoulder once with the spear, and then after getting bossed by the other Gnoll, the bossy Gnoll, stabbed you in the exact same spot once again, and leaving this pretty grievous bleeding wound, knows that he needs to try and take down the rider as quickly as possible after all that damage, and starts punching away. And where a rapid trio of blows, the third of which it starts sucking away some of his essence. You can see actually, almost like an Indiana Jones style, its sort of flesh starts sinking in slightly as it visibly ages before your eyes, as its essence is sucked away by Lyroon, dead. It just falls lifelessly out of the saddle into the sand.
Jeez, that was quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a regular Gnoll. It's
a regular Gnoll.
Yeah.
Regular Gnoll.
They're just...
What happens to the hyena?
He continues attacking, does whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. He's still a large
man.
I mean, if he had some kind of animal friendship magics, then it might be a different story. But yeah, it's just
yeah, if only our sketchy druid was here.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't have that spell.
Can I communicate with him through telekinesis? Not telekinesis.
Only if he knows a language.
Yeah, giant hyenas are pretty stupid, unfortunately. So, Lyroon, I assume that's your turn? Unless you want to
yes, that is. I do not want to move. I do not want to take 2 attacks of opportunity. Thank you, though.
Damn it. Buruk, you're up.
Right, so I'm gonna be rolling quite a few things. So I'm just going to start by rolling, then explaining what I'm going for. But one thing I would mention is that when we were in the preparation room, I did snag a shield off the wall, which wasn't exactly the best one, but still having at least some protection seemed like a wise thing when we're going against that many Gnolls. So seeing the army of Gnolls rushing towards us, I don't quite manage to spot in time that the hyena rider is off, but I do bash the hyena itself with a longsword.
Okay.
Let me see. Yep.
Nice.
21 would be a hit, I assume.
Yes. I'll be worried if it didn't.
Yeah, and just add to that, it's going to be a pushing attack, which means I'll add 1d8 to damage.
Oh. Nice!
Okay, so first things first, Buruk would have started walking about 5 feet downwards, going towards the boss, just as the whole massive gaping void of nothingness appears there, at which point obviously he starts cursing and looks at more immediate threats. Because as far as he's concerned, Lyroon should be able to take care of these two, but he can't really do all that much about that hunger of Hadar. So at this point he would stop, look at the rider, and just lunge at him, shield in his left, sword in his right, and basically at the same time strike it with a sword and bash it with a shield, hoping to just push it as far back away as possible, which he seems to be wildly successful at. So that's going to be 18 slashing damage at 21 to hit to Hyena.
Right, so it's the hyena. Okay. And
Is it still alive?
Yes, the hyena is still alive. Yeah, it's a giant hyena.
Okay, so that's for starters.
And then the push attack. Is that contested? It's contested, isn't it? It's DC 14.
It's DC 15 actually now.
Ooh. Right, so let me just roll its. It's a strength.
Why
check.
DC 15?
It is strength saving throw.
Because of his gauntlets.
Yep.
It's
Why isn't it updated?
Yeah. You might need to do an exclamation point update to get that to feed through, actually.
Very good call.
And it fails.
Wait, actually, when we were talking last time, I did mention that I would spend that hour practicing with the sword without the gauntlets. Actually, let's keep it as it is. I think that's fair.
No, I think you. Yeah, we're done an hour. You got the gauntlets on.
Sure.
Yeah. So so I just need to find my map. So it moves 15 feet backwards, right?
Yeah.
Right, 10, 15. I don't know how that works with difficult terrain, but we'll just say it's there. So yeah, Berg just calmly walks forward, slashes once with a sword, leaving a long, ragged red line down the giant hyena's flank, and then just smashes it with his shield and sends it flopping backwards 15 feet, tumbling end over end over the hay bale and smacking into the arena wall with a yelp of pain.
Lovely. So that's about half of my turn, just to keep things interesting.
Not even
Oh my
that.
god.
Yeah.
You get 2 attacks.
Five.
So.
Yeah, there's a lot I could still do. So at this point, seeing that, well, not quite dispatched, but at least taken care of one fighter for the moment, I would move towards the hyena next to Ravenous. So
Thank you.
5 feet up, 5 feet to the side. And I'm going to slash at that one with the longsword as well.
So you get +1 for your flanking there.
Very good call.
Nice.
That's going to be a 19 to hit. So I take it that hits as well.
Yeah, definitely hits. That's bitey number 1.
In which case I'm going to use another superiority dice, which should add another 1d8 damage. That's going to be a total of 13 slashing damage. And this would be a maneuvering attack. So as that happens, it's another slash at the Gnoll, at his unprotected back, and I would just almost bark out an order to Ravenous, up the wall, it's safer! And you could use your reaction to move up to half your movement speed, which is 15 feet, I think.
Without provoking an opportunity attack from what he attacked. So you can basically run away from that hyena up the wall without getting hurt.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And my movement speed is what, 30? So I can do
Yes.
15-foot movement.
Yeah, so effectively you can run. The walls around the edge of the arena are about 10 feet high, so basically we'll say you're here but 10 feet up, which gets you nicely out of melee range. For the purposes of this. So, yeah, my favourite
I'm
manoeuvre.
thinking if I want to go for action surge as well.
Yeah?
Just
Go for it.
screw it, let's do it.
While you're doing that, I'll have a go at fixing the cameras.
Perfect. So that gives me one additional action, so I've still got about 20 feet of movement left. I've also got 2 more attacks to do.
It never ends!
Yeah, I mean, this is the joy of fighters. They have one turn, which is really exciting and fun.
Yep. So, with that taken care of, I will swing at that hyena that was next to Ravenous once more, for good measure. It's once again a 19 to hit.
And 13 damage. Let me just see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I wouldn't do an extra maneuver on that.
Cool. So, yeah, Buruk just, that turn, just walks forwards, slashes across the hyena's flank, smacks it back with his shield, and turns around and sees the bitey hyena has dashed forward to try and harass Ravenous. Just calmly walks forward. And while it's distracted trying to bite towards her, just guts it from behind with his blade, and it's just a grievous wound already. It erupts out of its front, pulls it free, and there's just blood welling out both sides, both the entrance and exit wounds of it. And it's turning around just in time to face him and starts gnashing its teeth towards him, the sort of blood-flecked teeth, and he just calmly whoosh, chops its head free of its body. Dead.
Sounds amazing.
Wow.
And now, just to get a good end to a good turn, I would move 5 feet down, 15 feet left, into a spot where the hyena rider was.
Right there.
And, yep, that's the spot.
Back to back.
Yep, just making sure that those 2 hyenas from below couldn't reach you if they wanted. And for good measure, one final attack.
Fighter's got to fight.
Yeah, it's going to be 19 to hit.
That hits.
You like those 19s?
Very much so. And I'm going to add...
You rolled
another
all
maneuver.
3 19s. Just want to say that.
Yeah.
For another 1d8 damage. That's going to be a total of 11 slashing damage to this one. It's not a lot, but it gets some of the job done.
Cool.
And
What maneuver?
Yeah, I'm just quickly checking which one that would be. It's going to be pushing attack once more.
Okay.
Just to slam this one into a wall for good measure.
Cool. So from your position, that would get it to like here.
5 feet up, 5 feet left. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, and then just once that's calmly been dispatched and the head's just in the process of sliding free of the body to flop to the floor, Burke's just turning around already, marching straight back to Lyroon's side, and guts the scary looking Gnoll, and again whacks it back with his shield to send it smacking against the wall behind it. This one looks a lot less concerned by the damage inflicted. So it's injured, that's about it.
Silly question. It's you think of a stereotypical arena, and you even see some aspects of this on this map of having spiked walls. Are these walls by any chance spiked? Would being pushed into it hurt him?
If the walls were spiked, I'd have been very hurt climbing up that wall.
I mean, well, you could relatively carefully do it, but no, this arena's not spiked. Later arenas might be.
I think even if it were, there's a fairly slim chance. After already executing 3 attacks in 6 seconds, I would be able to aim for it well.
Exactly. Right. So
fighters have superhuman speed and whatever. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Super hobgoblin.
I mean, given that just about all the enemies that were around are pushed somewhere far away, I think it worked out.
So
agrees.
So Gnoll Bitey 1 is dead, Gnoll Regular is dead. So the opening round, there was a few vicious blows to Lyroon, but immediately 2 of the Gnolls were dispatched, and Ravenous let loose her favourite spell and is now in utter safety, tucked safely up the wall. So we're back to the top of the round.
Can you pick a different color than grey for the dead Gnoll? It's really hard to tell the difference.
Yes. How about that?
I love it.
Yeah, there we go. So, actually, what did I... Oh, yeah, the other one was the rider of the hyena, so I can't depict him, but just imagine there's no rider now. I actually shittily photoshopped that one. Next up is the Bossy Gnoll. So the Bossy Gnoll is...
Wait! He takes damage. He started this turn within my Hunger of Hadar.
Good memory. Right, give me the damage. 2d6, right?
Ooh, 12 damage.
Maximum damage.
Literally.
This is going exactly the same as the last time you fought Gnolls. Just tearing them apart with ease. Right.
We're just really, really good at fighting Gnolls.
Yeah. I'm sure you can make.
That's why I picked Gnolls, man.
Rather than
fight a giant.
Yeah, I mean, giants are pretty cool to fight. Right, so he is relatively smart. Let's see where he decides to run. Yeah, so he's going to run north. 5. He would remember where the hay bales are. So 5, 10, 15.
No, he wouldn't.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So he makes his way out of the darkness and quickly takes stock of what's going on and realises that none of his companions are within melee range, which unfortunately that nifty little feature he had where he could boss a Gnoll into doing something useful is now useless.
What you get?
Yeah, that was nicely done. I don't know if that's what you were intending to do, Burke, but that worked out pretty beautifully.
I was thinking about it, but I think Burke would just instinctively try to make some space. He wouldn't think that's making space because of.
Yeah, nice. So, as I said, he's got that weighty club in his hand. Seeing that he's not going to be able to get into range of anyone or be able to order around anyone, he just throws that to the side and draws a longbow that was on his back. You can tell it's not quite his preferred weapon, but he's going to make do. And he sights down towards Ravenous.
The weakest? Oh.
That would be sight up.
Huh?
That's true.
No, you said sights down on Ravenous.
No, it's sights up indeed. Yeah, sights up with her on the wall. Nicely out of cover, with no people in the way, but also responsible for the horrible Hunger of Hadar, that all those tentacles that are just rubbed against him. He wants vengeance for the inappropriate touching. So,
that's my favourite.
My favourite kind of touching. What's your AC, Ravenous?
15.
Okay, so he loads, knocks the arrow and just aims up towards her. Takes a moment, releases, and the arrow just flies forwards, and you can see it coming towards you, and you just narrowly manage to duck out of the way of it, and it just plinks against the stonework behind you, chipping away a small piece of stone, but that's about it. And as you're sort of looking at the arrow and watching as it plinks down to the ground, he's already knocked another one and loosed, and this time you weren't ready for it, and unfortunately that was a nasty hit.
God damn it, you said I was safe, you liar.
So you just see, and again, he's already knocked and he's loosed, and this is a perfect shot. So while you're looking down at that first arrow, it just takes you square, just between the collarbone and the neck, just the arrow sticking fast and sinking pretty much up to the fletching, so it's like almost erupting out of your back. You take 8 damage. That wasn't nat 20, but still only 8 piercing damage. It's quite disappointing.
Okay. Yeah, so disappointing.
Next up is the scary Gnoll. Now, the scary Gnoll isn't particularly impressed at being shoved around, so it starts marching forward, getting back into melee range with Lyroon and Buruk. Now, Lyroon's the relatively wounded one, so I think that's who you'd be prioritising. So,
what are you doing, Buruk?
what is he doing?
Pooping.
I cannot hear you if you're talking.
Oh, I was talking, and it was, yeah. If I had camera, at least you would see that I was doing something.
I was just guessing, throwing it out there.
Yep. But as he gathers his wits about and decides to approach us again, well, that's a mistake. I'm going to slam him with a shield once again with brace. So another maneuver. As he approaches me, I basically get an attack of opportunity on him as he does so.
That's a Tasha's maneuver. That's the first time I've ever seen anyone use it.
It's absolutely amazing, to be honest.
Tell me more.
It's basically riposte, but instead of someone having to miss you, someone has to just enter your reach, it seems.
Cool. Okay.
But in that case, it would be 24 to hit.
Yeah, that
I suppose
definitely
that's
hits.
it.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be 15 slashing damage on the poor guy.
15, bloody hell. That's on Scary Gnoll.
Yes.
Okay, so Scary Gnoll, as I say, he's something looks a bit wrong with him. He's like slightly like corrupted looking flesh. It's sort of blue tinged fur, and it's just when he breathes, there's this mouldy, musky scent that washes over you, and he's just and starts pulling himself forward towards you, and he's got his razor sharp claws on his hands, ready to start raking you apart. And just as he moves towards Lyroon, Buruk takes full advantage of his intention being solely focused on the monk for now, and yeah, uses the brace maneuver. So just immediately guts him with the with his long sword, a very vicious swipe. Yeah, it's a long, nasty line, but where you see the blade cast through, it's not red blood leaking out as you might expect, but more of a slightly putrescent, was a blackish ichor leaking from his wounds. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Ichor?
Ichor.
Ichor.
I know.
I've always heard Ichor.
Gooey essence comes out of him. So that sounds awful. But he's not too perturbed just yet, and so his attention is indeed focused on Lyroon. What was your AC, Lyroon?
18, I believe. Yeah. It is in fact 18.
Okay, bad news for you, I'm afraid. So he opens up with his jaws, in fact, open up, so bearing those vicious, dripping teeth, and he just latches down upon your forearm as you move to almost block the blow. He just clamps down upon it. You take initially 7.
And then let me guess. Poison damage.
Yeah, so 7 piercing damage, and then give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh my god!
I know these guys.
DC 12.
I did a Gnoll, whatever, not that long ago. Where's the con button? There's the con button.
We're gonna be using
DM, do you require a refill?
Pretty much actually, yeah. But that is unfortunately 11, so that is a fail. So you also take 8 poison damage. So it's
okay.
Where the teeth bite into your forearm, you can just feel this. Sorry, 1 second. There you go. Yeah, fantastic.
Alright. What was the first number?
So 7 piercing, 8 poison. So where the teeth bite into your forearm, you can just feel from each of the puncture wounds there's this burning sensation that starts spreading outward, and then it suddenly erupts like an inferno straight up your arm and across your chest as the poison surges through your veins. Then he reaches out with those 2 sets of claws. He swipes once towards you, and you're reeling from the bite wound, and you just launch yourself backwards out of the way, leaving the claws just raking through empty air. But then the second set comes swinging for an underarm savage uppercut across your chest, and it's just ragged open wounds of flesh that erupt across your chest. You take 8 slashing.
Lyroon is unconscious.
Ooh. Nasty.
If only we had a spare healer for this.
If only we had 2 spare healers.
No can do, sorry. Well, it was nice knowing Lyroon.
He's gone now. Okay. So, with that, so the vicious uppercut and just slicing open those ribbons across his flesh, and Lyroon just starts wobbling once, twice, eyes rolling, and then just flops to the ground unconscious beside Burke. I'm just going to wait a second so Ravenous can get to hear that that's happened, because she's distracted with Caps.
Oh, wait. So, I vaguely heard something.
Lyroon is unconscious.
Unconscious?
Unconscious.
Unconscious Lyroon. Okay. Yeah, so that was in fact the exact amount of damage that was required to knock him down. That's quite unfortunate.
I'll be protecting his body with my life.
Next up is the giant hyena. So the giant hyena has been... Sorry?
Does he take some Hunger of Hadar damage?
The giant hyena is not in there.
He's nowhere even close to that, unfortunately.
The giant hyena, not the bitey hyena. Not the bitey gnoll. This is the giant hyena.
Oh, giant hyena. Sorry, this is all your fault for saying hyena all the time.
No, it's kobold that I kept saying. With Lyroon bleeding out on the ground, the hyena focuses its attention upon Buruk. So let me just... Yeah. Oh. Sorry, one moment. Just realised that gnolls have a particular feature that I forgot about.
Yep, I was actually right about to type it out.
Yeah. When the gnolls reduce a creature to 0 hit points with a melee attack, they can use a bonus action to move up to half their movement speed and take a bite attack.
Oh.
Nope.
That's not too fun.
Okay.
For me, at least.
Yeah. What's your AC, Burke?
So with a shield, it's 19.
Okay.
It's not going to be shown on D&D Beyond because I'm not keeping that shield after this fight.
Yeah, it's a temporary shield. So immediately after just tearing apart Lyroon, so he's bleeding out on the ground, turns his attention towards Buruk that had smacked him backwards and just gives a sort of vicious bloody snarl, and it's got Lyroon's blood still on its lips and just launches itself forward with its maw opened, ready to clamp down on him. Buruk gets up his shield, tries to block the blow, but it just smacks the shield out of the way with its hand and bites down on his chest and starts mauling away through the mail armor, and some of those teeth do indeed manage to puncture through.
Whoa. How well did he roll?
Well,
Too well, I can tell that much.
Yeah, he got a 20 overall.
Oh, shut your mouth.
Against a 19.
That's 19
Shut your mouth.
Give me a DC 12 Constitution save, Burke.
That's going to be a pass.
Cool. Okay, so you don't take the poison damage. You just take 5 piercing damage.
I can do
Just
that.
it.
I mean, for Burke, that's actually absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's a good start of being hit.
Yeah.
I'm just nervous that I might end up being the only one left not collapsed. And that's not good for me.
You'll be fine-ish.
Right, that's it. Oh,
Ish.
just put on the exact same playlist by accident. 1 second. I want the second battle playlist. And one of these days I will manage to track down more royalty, copyright-free battle playlists. But not today. Right. So that's the end of the scary Gnoll's turn. So next up is the giant hyena, and it starts scampering forward towards Buruk, opens up its jaw, launching itself towards him just as he's recovering from the vicious bite wound inflicted by the scary Gnoll to his chest, and starts gnashing down towards him. Let's see how it does.
This music's sad. I don't like it. I feel like we're about to lose a character.
Yeah. Lyron's about to die. It's yep.
Yeah. So gnashing down towards him, and indeed,
just in case that's not riposte, I just saw that I missed one of the maneuvers being discounted.
Gotcha. So again, he tries to get the shield up, but again, it's just not sufficient. It just barrels over him and starts biting away at his flesh and tearing him apart before your eyes. Let's see how it does with damage. That is...
our cameras have frozen.
Not on my screen. Oh, no, just your camera's frozen. I think it's the laptop struggling. Have you got other windows open?
Oh. No.
No?
It's not a problem. Just, I mean, it'll come back, hopefully. Otherwise, I'll just look very bemused for the entire thing.
Just perpetually bemused. So that is 9. What type of damage is it? Piercing damage dealt to Buruk. On top.
That's definitely not pleasant, but I think I would be still doing okay.
Okay, so yeah, he's there's a few bleeding wounds on his body from the various things. His chainmail armor is starting to get a little bit ragged, having just been repaired.
So ridiculous.
But
I think I'll have to buy a new set at some point, just to keep one for perpetual maintenance at the smith.
Yeah.
Swap in one out, one out, one in, one out.
Yep.
Okay, now it's Ravenous' turn. So Lyroon is bleeding out on the ground. There's a scary hyena and the scary Gnoll, giant hyena, standing beside Buruk. There's the boss nearby to you, and you can see inside the darkness one of the bitey hyenas is trying to claw his way out.
I'm going to leave him in there because he's not doing anyone any damage right now. Question: hexing costs an action, yes?
Bonus action, but it is your concentration.
Action.
It does use your concentration, so the Hunger of Hadar would disappear.
I see. Okay. Well, I will just pop off an Eldritch Blast against each of the people around Buruk at the moment.
One at each of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eldritch,
So
please.
that's scary and giant.
So that's a 17 to hit
On
the hyena, and then that is a 20 on the other dude.
okay,
Scary
both of those
boy.
hit. So give me those damage rolls. So the first one will be for the hyena.
That is 15 damage.
Wow, nice. That was maximum damage, right?
I rolled 0 on both and 15.
Oh, they're both. Yeah, so you got maximum damage on both of those.
I think that's just in time.
Oh.
Wow,
I quite like that.
that's pretty good.
It also says I've got force damage. Does that mean I push them both back 5 foot?
Unfortunately not. It's just a damage type. It's
Damn it.
but force damage is the best type of damage in D&D because basically nothing has resistance to it.
Yes, well,
Okay.
the way to explain the damage types you typically have, fire, lightning, all of those are reasonable. Thunder is a bit of a curious one because it's essentially a sonic boom. And then you have Earth, which is... It doesn't come with any elemental power to it. It's just something that pushes people over, around, tears things through.
Okay.
If you imagine them being hit with a massive invisible mallet, that's not too far from truth.
It's I like to think of it as the concussion wave that comes from exploding dynamite.
Yeah, that's
Oh, right.
almost a shockwave damage.
Yeah. So, there is something you can do. It's a new feature of yours. As always, I will give you limited reminders about these things, and then you have to start remembering on your own. Something that you got when you hit level 5. That takes a bonus action. And
I have no absolute clue.
And does psychic damage.
That's only if I get hexed. It's only against hexed people.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you need.
Yeah,
It amplifies your
if
hex
I- if-
damage.
Yeah. So it's maddening hex. So if I hex
Right, my bad.
something and then there's something within 5 foot, and then I can use it as a bonus action. Blah 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 blah. So yeah.
My bad. All right, you knew better than me. There you go. The student becomes the master.
The day has finally come when I beat you at something.
That D&D. So yeah, these. So Ravenous. Where do you move at all?
There's no real. Maybe actually, I'll move myself. No, it's not going to make a difference to the guy hitting at me, so I'm just going to stay where I am.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So Ravenous just summons those 2 purple meteorites into her hands, as she customarily does. Hurls one towards each of the targets beside Burke. And both of them are dead on target, and splashing into the scary Gnoll, right into the centre of his chest, just exploding a spray of sort of slightly putrescent guts over the unconscious form of Lyroon. And you can see there's rib cage and a slightly beating heart within. The other one just slams into the hyena's side, and again it's just an explosion of guts splashing outwards, and you see there's this ragged hole torn through its flesh, and both are looking pretty wounded now. They're both bloodied, but neither is dead.
I was just about to ask about that.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens next. So next up is the Bitey Gnoll. 2d6 damage from Ravenous from your Hunger of Hadar. She cannot hear me because she's letting the cat out.
Sorry, cat was being annoying.
2d6.
Yeah, we can already see it on the other camera.
Yeah. 2d6.
There he is.
2d6 Hunger of Hadar damage for the Bitey Gnoll.
Nice. Okay.
Let's see if you manage to kill him before you can even do anything this game.
Bloop. That is a 7 damage.
Oh, so close. To be fair, it had to be at the higher end of the 2d6 to be able to kill him outright. So, Bitey Gnoll, he's still within the Hunger of Hadar, and that biting, unnatural cold of the vortex of space starts tearing away at his flesh, and you see there's actually whole patches of his flesh, fur is just covered in frost. But he manages to hold on for dear life, and finally steps forward, and he's out of the Hunger of Hadar darkness, and he's just sort of quivering and shivering from the cold, baring those teeth, and sees rather nearby as a convenient target, and moves forward to go start biting at Burke.
Oh no.
Look, of the 2 people that convenient targets, I'm so glad you said Burke. Just not gonna lie, it's just convenient targets, not Lyroon. Yeah,
well, I mean,
you're
not a threat. That's the thing. It's he can eat you later.
Depends on the NPC. You know, some of them want just to make sure to double tap the enemies.
Yeah. Well, it depends on their priorities. But in this case, you're not a visible threat, whereas Burke is, given how much blood's dripping off his sword. So,
It's just from my experience, the one time I mind controlled a person, they are scarier than any NPC you might possibly have.
Mm-hmm.
They know to finish off the dead unconscious targets.
okay. So it opens up those that blood-flecked mouth, those biting, those gnashing teeth. It just launches itself forward, trying to bite down. And Burke, having already been bitten twice very recently, is all too ready for this. Smacks him aside with the shield, and he just tumbles over through the sands, then lands on all fours, raises its head, snarls again, and then launches forward. And as it launches through the air, it's got its short sword in hand and starts slashing towards him. Boom, boom. The first blow smacked aside with the shield again. The second one, it just reaches his chainmail armor and just rakes harmlessly across it. The solid defenses from the fighter Hobgoblin.
Nice.
Oof, he has been useless this combat. Right, so that's the end of Bitey Gnoll's turn. Lyroon, give me a death save.
Is there an actual button for it?
On D&D Beyond?
I should. Yeah.
I've never had to use it.
Same. We can fix that.
just want to check my equipment because I feel like I have a health potion somewhere in there.
Yeah, you do.
Let me check if I do.
Yeah, hang on.
You definitely do from your earlier activities.
Well, I'm just gonna roll a d20 and we can add 1 to that.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, I don't see a death save button anywhere, but you would have thought there would be.
Oh my god.
Oh god, are you dead?
I am
that is-
very, very close. That is 2 automatic death saving throws.
So if you get a nat 1 on a death save, it counts as 2 fails, and you can only have 3 fails, and then you're dead, short of a resurrection.
Oh my god.
It's very, very scary.
Arena.
Very, very scary.
Jesus.
So
quick question: would the +1 from Cloak of Protection
Nope.
keep it at nat 1?
doesn't affect.
Oh,
the nat
sorry.
one.
Correct. Yeah.
Brooke.
Right. So just to recap on my current situation, I have 3 vicious enemies around me. All 3 of them are inches from death. Is that right?
Ooh, yes, pretty much. The bitey is definitely the fewest inches from death.
I would actually argue that you have 4 vicious enemies next to you that are all very close to death.
I'd say Scary is not in a great state, but he's still got some. He's still got some vitality to him. Hyena
Okay.
looking wounded. Bitey is on death's door.
Gotcha. And a second question is, what are your rulings about healing potions administered to others again?
Action, unfortunately.
I mean, how to put it? As rude as that is, I think I would not be using action for that.
Yeah.
It's how to put it. Meta game wise, I am pretty sure that the right thing to do is to spend the turn feeding that health potion. From Burke's point of view, I'm pretty sure he would continue fighting. Decisions.
It's alright. Do what Burke would do.
Laroon, will you hate me?
No, definitely not at all.
No.
I have plenty of backup characters.
You will hate me after I miss both of these attacks. Let's go.
Oh god.
Okay, so first things first, I'm going to slam my shield into Bitey. That's going to be a longsword attack, just in case. That's will not 11. I don't like 11. Let me add a saving phase to that.
Let me just check. I'm pretty sure you will have to.
Check what?
The AC. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, you will have to. Right, saving face. You got 3 allies or 2 allies.
Can Lyroon see me? Actually, 2 questions. One, Lyroon most likely can't see me, so I have 1 direct ally watching. Second, how big is the crowd around me
Yeah, there's
in the stands?
about 30 of them. I'll allow you. I'll allow that as +5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that there are at least a few in the stands within 30 feet.
Yeah,
So that would make it a 16 to hit.
that hits.
Yeah, so that's going to be 7 slashing damage at Bitey.
Okay, Bitey, 7. Yeah. So Burrick's just slashing forward with his long swords, and he feels all the eyes of that crowd around him, and he's representing hobgoblins everywhere. He needs to do them proud, and there's a sudden tensing of his muscles. He's trying to swing with all the strength he can muster. Hacks away at the body, and you can just see the blade hacks into the rib cage and just keeps on passing through, shattering them like twigs. Bitey is down, and he's not getting back up.
Oh yeah.
I am very glad to hear that.
Me too.
With that dealt with, I'm going to turn my attention to the hyena. No, actually, I would be going for the scary. More that's not because he's more likely to die, but I don't trust what he's going to be up to anytime soon. And that's going to be a 14 to hit against Scary.
Scary. That hits. Just.
Whew.
Oof.
In that case, that's going to be 10 slashing damage against him.
Okay, Scary 10. Okay, so yeah, just slashing with your long swords, and sweeps towards the scary hyena, and it almost manages to pull itself out of the way in time, but just not quite, and the tip of the blade just carving along that hide armor through it to slash away at his flesh. And you can see there's another rivulet of this sort of putrescent liquids from inside him starting to leak down. He's looking very much the worse for wear, but he's not quite dead.
That is fair enough. And just as the last thing I would do this turn is, given I've just dispatched a second enemy, and the remaining ones, well, of course, they're still dangerous, but I am still doing alright. I would use Second Wind. Why are you not happy with me today, Avery?
Oh, maybe I got it wrong. Hang on.
Okay.
Oh, it's a space.
Yeah, the space was what that was missing.
There you go. So, yeah. And then Burke just takes in this breath through his nose. His chest rising, and he's just settling himself in using that training he's received as a hobgoblin fighter, and you can just shrug off a measure of those wounds, try and keep himself on his feet.
Just getting shoulders back, combat stance ready, and legs wide. He's ready for what's coming next.
Okay.
And hopefully that's not Lyron's death.
Okay.
We'll see.
Find out in the next episode.
No!
Round three, and
to be continued.
Round 3, and it's time for Bossy. Now, Bossy does have people who are in melee range who can start doing stuff.
And they do.
So he points at Scary Gnoll. And immediately Scary Gnoll just gives a singular nod and just launches himself towards Burke as gnashing teeth biting down towards him. Burke doesn't even need to dodge out the way of this one. You can just watch as he comes towards him. The teeth just snap forward a good few inches away from his face. And it's, that hobgoblin pride serves him well. He doesn't even flinch.
So what you mean to tell me is his neck is completely open right in front of me.
Oh, yes.
That's a perfect time for a riposte.
Yeah, I think in that one, there is no better time for a riposte.
Yep, let's see whether that's the case. Oh, and that's a 12 to hit.
Oh, that's unfortunately a miss. So, Burke in kind slashes away with his long sword to try and take advantage of the overextension as it tries to bite towards him. Unfortunately, it just swings underneath a good couple of inches just as it rears back after trying to bite him. So, all in all, it's equal footing. Bossy Gnoll then. Actually, one sec. I need the loo. Sorry, I've been trying to hold as long. I thought I might be able to go until the end of combat, but I couldn't. So, it is the Bossy Gnoll's turn. So yeah, he just ordered this Scary Gnoll to bite at Burke. Nat 1 miss, but Burke riposted and also missed. So it's a lot of missing. Then the Bossy Gnoll, it's got snarls in dissatisfaction at his comrade's performance and starts tosses aside his. In fact, no. Yeah, he's still got his longbow in hand. And he's going to sight up towards Ravenous on the wall, realizing he's the only one who's really going to be able to do much about her. Right, so that's
bad idea, brother.
Let's see how this goes. So, longbows. Knocks one arrow, aims upward towards her, releases, and once again she's ready for it. She can see the arrow coming towards her and just launches herself, skittering across the wall out of the way, and the arrow just clatters against the wall. Another bit of stone chipped away to no harm. The second arrow, though, as she's off balance, she's not quite able to duck out the way, takes a square in her gut, and it's another arrow, and she's got 2 now embedded in her body. That is...
Child's play!
7 piercing damage.
'Tis but a flesh wound.
We'll call it a draw.
And that is the end of the Bossy Gnoll's turn. Scary Gnoll.
That was Bossy Gnoll.
Yeah, so that was the end of Bossy Gnoll's
Scary
turn.
Gnoll's turn.
Yeah, it's now Scary Gnoll's turn. So Scary Gnoll bites forward towards Burke, trying to gnash down towards him. He's ready for it, and he just steps backward and leaves the chomping teeth just gnashing mere inch away from his face. But again, he just looks impassively dead into its dead-looking eyes. Then it rears back with its claws, slashes down once, and it gets past his shield and just scrapes across his chest. Once again, it's piercing through the ringlets of his heavy chain metal armor. That is a 24 to hit, which is pretty brutal.
That will unfortunately hit.
Yeah, so that is... okay.
Did you definitely weight this properly?
It's fine.
If they're asking you that question, then it's a yes. So that is 10 slashing damage. Then it comes around with the other claws, raking upwards as he's rearing from that blow. But he's got the presence of mind to just get his shield between him and the claws, leaving just scraping along the metal. So yeah, that second attack misses.
So the way I'm imagining it at the moment, I basically have the shield lodged sideways between me and the Gnoll, just to keep him out, at least within the outside arm's reach from myself.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate in visualization. So map. Yeah, so that's the big gun. That's the scary Gnoll. That's the end of his turn. Next up is the giant hyena.
Yep. Boy, am I excited.
I'm not. We're all gonna die. TPK!
No, you can just run upstairs and out if you really wanted to.
I mean,
You're fine.
I could technically, but then we would still lose.
Yeah. So then the giant hyena launches itself forward, snapping with those gnashing teeth once more, and then once more, but it's ready with that shield. He's got it like pushing back against the scary Gnoll that had been trying to slash towards him. Just smacks forward with the shield right into the centre of Hyena's open mouth as it was trying to bite at him, and the rim of the shield just taking it into the teeth. And it just rears back, just wounded, but no real damage done other than fending it off for that moment. He's managing to hold his own, impressively. Next up, dramatic, ravenous.
Mwah! Okay. First things first, I will use my bonus action to cast a hex on which one looks less bloodied.
The least wounded.
Other than the guy shooting me.
Honestly, Scary and Hyena are pretty much in the same ballpark.
Right.
But to be fair, though, the scary one is in fact scary.
Scary one is scary. What was that? Sorry, Burke?
For the 2 bolt, do you have to designate both targets at the same time?
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
It's like 2
I thought that
teams.
Yeah. Was hoping that's only a magic missiles thing.
Yeah.
So...
I think so, at least.
So yeah, bonus to hex Scary Gnoll.
Cool.
And then lay a bolt to each of them.
Okay. So you're going to go after both, but you're hexing Scary Gnoll.
Okay. Hexing Scary Gnoll first.
Right. So just for full awareness of everyone, it's Lyroon's turn coming up. If he fails the death save, he's dead. And
we can go and resurrect him in a church or something, right?
Yeah, there's just a price tag attached.
Yeah, if we can afford it, I'm not sure.
Fine, I'll take all the money off my room to pay for his resurrection.
All that money he doesn't have because he owes everyone money.
Yeah, I have 6 gold.
Okay, well that's enough. I have none. But
So there's a
I can add 4 more.
There is a 55% chance he'll live.
Oh, I do not like those odds. That's pretty
Never tell me the odds.
Not to influence your turn, I just wanted you to be aware, because I know you've not really come across death save mechanics before.
No, I haven't. But also, I don't have in my... I mean, unless you didn't tell us that we had them, I don't have any potions in my inventory.
Oh.
So I can't do anything about it anyway.
Oh, then it is a moot point. There is probably a potion on Lyroon.
Certainly. You can also stabilize someone with a wisdom save. Sorry, a medicine save.
Yeah, that is not Ravenous' strong suit.
What are you talking about? Ravenous is super wise.
Question. So fucking wise. Question: when a person is, stabilized through a health potion, per se, do they, when they go down again, do they start the saves again?
Yeah. It resets the
back to
saves,
0-0.
yeah, and it makes them instantly conscious again. So, and again, it's utterly up to you. I'm not trying to influence your turn. I just want you to be aware of the mechanics at work.
I think the question here is not so much what's the right thing to do, but what Ravenous would do.
That's a really good
And
point.
I do have a suspicion that you're running towards the two hyenas and feeding a potion. Is it what Ravenous would do? I don't know, honestly, but...
I don't think... the thing is, she wouldn't know for sure that he had a potion on him, so wouldn't take the risk,
Yeah.
to be honest. I'm sorry! I don't...
Yeah. I mean, maybe that becomes a quest, you know, to resurrect Lyrene.
We have one day till the festival.
Well, you know, you do have a powerful ally in Daggerford.
True.
Well,
We'll
yeah.
get to it when we get to it.
Cross that bridge
Alright.
when you come to it.
I'm gonna stick to my original plan, so I'm hexing Scary. I'm sorry. And then I'm gonna...
You do you. I will never ever hate a player because of in-character stuff.
I can at least one counterexample. But we won't be talking about it here.
the other,
Sorry. What did you say, Burke? I actually didn't hear.
There's at least one counterexample I know.
Fair.
The other issue is, of course, if Lyrene dies and you get a new character, I then have to do a new portrait, which is going to be work for me. So,
Yeah, that's a
Anyway.
big concern for Ravenous.
it's a big concern for non-Ravenous.
Right,
but
let's
anyway.
have right. So you're Eldritch Blasting, right?
Yes. So my
Okay.
first Eldritch Blast will be towards Scary,
Right, Scary first.
who is
With
hexed.
text as well.
Who is
Yep.
hexed?
Yeah.
So if you do hit, there's 5 extra damage to baddies within 5 feet.
No, that's...
Oh no, that's your bonus action. Ignore me.
bonus action.
Yeah.
yeah. So that is a 27 to hit.
That definitely hits. So then it's
The
your damage
damage.
roll with an extra 1d6, I believe it is.
So the damage is 10 plus... So that is a 14
Are you
total.
kidding me? That is exact to the exact damage points. Like you guys have done a total of 65 damage to the number to that. Yeah. So right, your second Eldritch Blast.
Okay, second Eldritch Blast. Boop. This is the hyena one. So that is a 17 to hit.
That hits.
And this is a 8 damage.
Okay, so that's not enough to kill it, I'm afraid, but it's very close. So Ravenous summons 4 of those 2 purple meteorites that you've all come to be familiar with, hurls one towards a giant hyena and another detonation of flesh, and you see more bones and sinew revealed, hurls the other towards the scary gnoll, and it just takes it straight in the face and it starts incinerating backwards, almost like the face melting kind of scenes from heavy metal concerts, and the skin just peeling away, and it's just bone, snout that's revealed, and the raw teeth, and it just shrivels, shudders, and then just collapses to the ground backwards, dead and just twitching.
Can I also make my way around the arena wall towards Buruk?
Yeah. Too many windows open. There we go. Towards Buruk. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You can get to there.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think we all know what it's time for. It's
No.
Bitey Gnoll is dead, so it's Lyrune's turn.
No.
Is that four?
No, no, no,
Basically
no.
50-50. It's just scary stuff. This is actually the closest. I very rarely kill players.
Let's see it.
I've only ever killed one other player in my
You
entire
kill
career.
Lyrune.
Are you about to double that death?
Ah!
No, you're not.
19 death save, bloody hell. Yeah, so bleeding out on the ground, just enough willpower left in this pretty old elf, actually, that's been fighting along your side. He's not ready to give up the count just yet.
Got stuff to do.
I gotta visit my sons.
Jesus. Buruk.
Right. So, given I see Scary, which was my main concern really, splattered on the ground, I would be essentially digging the shield down into the ground and crouching behind it, just slamming the longsword into the ground as well for easy reach, but, you know, just burying it a couple inches into the sand. And I would be rapidly looking for my pouch, Because I know somewhere deep in it, oh no, that's the musket. No, that's the jug that's used as now. Oh, here's the healing potion. And I'm going to be feeding that to Lyroon.
Oh, okay. Cool. Right, 2d4 plus 4, I think it is.
2d4 plus 2.
Some healing potion. And it's potion of healing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Potion.
Potion
Sorry.
of healing. It is 2d4 plus 2. So either way, no matter what, Lyroon is now conscious, blinking awake.
Yay!
Brooke leans down over him, on stopping this potion, this red glass bottle. And actually, Brooke, this is a potion I think you've come across. What do your potions look like? Is this one you bought or the one that you brewed from your clan? What's it? What kind of potion is it?
So that's a good question, because these I have been carrying for quite a while. Hopefully they haven't expired yet, but they're in
Lyroon
small.
nearly did.
Yeah, in small.
Too soon.
It's small clay jars, and if you imagine a proper clear vial, you can't really see the contents of this liquid, but as it goes down, it does have a bit of a spicy tingle to it. So if you imagine something with a chili or paprika, and there's definitely enough herbs for it not to be a fully clear drink, but rather it's not quite the consistency of the soup, but definitely more than just clear water.
So from Ravenous and the crowd's perspective, they can see this hulking fighter just lean over Lyroon, unstop at his clay bottle and start pouring down this fairly viscous liquid down his throat, and it doesn't look quite right. And then from Lyroon's perspective, you're just in the darkness of death, and then consciousness suddenly rushes in, and you can just feel this slight singeing sensation as it goes down your throat, and your eyes flick open, and there's Buruk, the red-skinned Buruk, leaning over you, a slight frown of concentration on his face as he's pouring the potion down your throat.
Paprika, no.
Like the sweetness.
I think Buruk just goes, "Don't worry, it's vegetarian."
I'm thinking that there are two problems with it. One, there's at least one ingredient that's not vegetarian, and two, Brooke wouldn't care at this point.
No, sure, fair enough. What he doesn't know won't hurt him. It's cool.
Yeah. There you go. The crowd all cheer and celebration, like huzzah! Except a lot less noble than that, because none of them are nobles at this point in the day. So yeah, they're all just like cheering, like yeah. But they don't really know your name, so they don't really know what to cheer. They're just celebrating it in general. So consciousness rushes in for Lyroon, still prone on the ground, but no longer at death's very door. Next up, though, is Bossy.
Oh. Just so you know, you can drop the Hunger of Hadar, because I dropped concentration when I did my hats.
Yes, you are absolutely right. The purple ring disappears, which is surprisingly difficult to select in PowerPoint for some reason. Bang! There we go. Bossy Gnoll. Now, interesting thing about Bossy Gnoll.
He's a dick.
His bossy feature actually works on any creature. It's not just gnolls.
Oh, wait.
I was hoping you would say that it doesn't have to be a live creature.
Oh, you're just undead. Get up! and biting.
You're gonna be like saying
we are not finished.
So you can't like use it on us and be like, "Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself!"
I don't know. I think they have to be willing. So.
Well, stupid enough.
So. The giant hyena, he's pointing towards Buruk just as the giant hyena's watching him pour the potion down Lyroon's throat. What's your AC, Buruk?
19.
So, the giant hyena bares its jaws and launches itself forwards, and while Buruk's pouring the potion down Lyroon's throat, its jaws clamp down on your back, trying to gnash its way through that chain metal armor, but the teeth just aren't able to quite penetrate through the ringlets of metal, and it just scrapes ineffectually. Once more, the investment
Buruk would be growling in pain. It's still not a pleasant thing when someone tries to rip your arm off, but luckily that holds.
Yeah. Well,
some people are into that kind of thing.
Wow. But as well, it's it's probably growling in irritation that his armor's getting further ruined. Meanwhile, so the bossy Gnoll is just snarling and dissatisfied, and so turns his attention to back to his original target. The pesky tiefling sitting on the wall, hurling eldritch blast this way and that. And with the Hunger of Hadar winked out behind him, he actually starts backing up a little. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 20.
Oh, that's not going to save you from my 120-foot range.
No, but does give him cover, which is effectively increases his AC. So he gets out.
How much cover is that really? If it only covers like half of his body.
Yeah, it's half cover. So
+2 AC.
Yeah, it's +2 to his AC. Cover's important for range attacks. So he gets his longbow out, looses the first arrow, and once again, as always with these attacks, Ravenous just watches the first arrow come in and just easily steps outside of it, but the second arrow comes straight in, bang on target.
You would think I would actually start to like get the pattern, but no, Ravenous
you have low wisdom.
Oh, shit.
That's what happens when you have low wisdom. So that's another 5 piercing damage.
Okay. This is the most, actually, since we started this campaign, this is the most damage I've ever taken.
Ooh.
In fact, probably some of the only, I think the only damage before this that I took was from Burrock punching me in the arm.
I'm just laughing at triple digits of damage taken by now, despite having the campaign a bit late.
Yeah, tank's got a tank. So that's the bossy Gnoll's turn over. Scary Gnoll's dead. Giant hyena launches itself to gotta think about this one.
I would probably just go for what's closest to it, which would be Burrock, right?
Well, Burrock and Lyroon are both closest to it. It's just watch Lyroon be like resurrected.
Oh, sorry, Lyroon, if this ruins everything, but is he still poisoned?
No,
it's just poison damage.
Poison damage.
Oh,
So it's different,
that makes
there's different
it so
things.
much better.
I think annoyingly, sorry Lyroon, but it would go for you. Just trying to, yeah, because you've blinked awake and you're like gasping.
Flip a coin? It's not intelligent enough to make that decision, Sam. 50-50 that.
All right, you know, for the full sake, let's do that. On a 1, it's targeting Lyroon. There you go. Lyroon, what's your AC?
18.
18.
Mind you, it's rolling at advantage.
It is rolling at advantage. So, you know, looks between the two, and it can see Lyroon blinking awake, and it's like, and you can see that you're prone, laying on the ground. You're the easier mark. It's going to try and savage you. Launches itself forward, mouth open, trying to gnash away at your flesh, and you're blinking awake, you're gasping for air, that chilliness burning in your throat, but you've got enough presence of mind to just roll out of the way, leaving its teeth snapping on empty air.
I've done those martial trainings. I've done them so many years, decades of daily training. This stuff doesn't require consciousness. Roll out of the way.
There we go. Ravenous.
Do a barrel roll.
Ravenous. Do a barrel roll. Right. Ravenous.
Cool. So shift over my hex to bossy Gnoll.
Cool.
And gonna sort of basically just threaten him, be like, you're gonna wish you hadn't been targeting me this whole time. You may have tried to cover yourself, but I'm still gonna get you. So my hex moves over, the cloud kind of comes out the dead body, and then goes all over. Sorry, I don't know why a cloud goes, but it does.
It does.
All around the bossy Gnoll, seeps in through his skin, giving him a dark, iridescent purple glow to him. And then I'm going to put both of my Eldritch Blasts straight at him.
Alright, you're going to target bossy Gnoll. You're annoyed by all these longbow attacks that have been hitting you. Right, roll to hit.
That is an 26 to hit.
It hits.
And that one is a 12 damage.
Nice.
Plus my hex damage, which is plus 5.
Cool.
So 17 altogether damage. Yep. And then the second one to go. The hit is 18.
That hits.
My attack roll is 14 with my hex damage.
Oh my god.
It's 18 in total.
Once again, you've done the exact correct amount of damage, because your initial, because you remember your initial Hunger of Hadar damage to him was perfect 12. You got 6 and 6, and then just now you caused a total of 37 damage, and that's a total of 49, which was the exact amount of hit points he had. Wow. So once again, this Ravenous pulls
I'm so glad I made the speech beforehand now.
Yeah. Ravenous pulls out that purple smoky iridescence away from the now deceased corpse of Scary Gnoll, and it just sifts through the air, wafting its way across the arena, settling over Bossy Gnoll, and Ravenous summons forth 2 purple meteorites, and 2 sparkling trails race across the arena sands as they go towards him. One takes him directly into the face and just scorches away a good portion of his face, and his eye is just popped in an instant. It's just like, and blood spewing across the sand. The second one takes him dead center in the chest, and it just detonates and releases a huge gout of blood. And you can see once, twice his heart pumping, and then he just flops backwards to the ground, just flopping backwards, and his longbow scattering to the sands and to foot, dead.
Ravenous just brings up her finger guns and goes and pretend holsters them.
As if she fires. Yeah, that's how she fires meteorites now. She's just like good. That is any movement? I assume not. It doesn't really matter at this point. It's only hyena.
There's no need for movement at this point. No.
So I think that takes us squarely to Lyroon's turn. Yeah, Lyroon, time to get vengeance on.
Exactly. So first thing Lyroon does is immediately, do that like backward, like flip up with legs. Yeah. The one that I couldn't possibly do in real life.
I tried it once and I hurt my back.
Oh. Like, the very thought of trying it hurts my back. First thing is 14 enough for Giant Hyena?
Mm-hmm.
Nice!
12 is in fact enough.
Nice. First thing, lunges at him, goes for a punch, like long neck for a hyena. So like right where the shoulder hits the neck, just jab right in there. And then add in, and as that punch hits, there's that spreading of necrosis. As a really bad spot is hit. And then I'm just gonna keep on going. Tell me if it's enough damage.
Oh, it's already died, but style points.
Just keep doing it.
Excellent. Okay. So, I'm just gonna roll it all, and then I'm gonna. Was that 3 or 4 attacks?
You've done 3 attacks and a hand of harm.
Excellent. Hand of harm doesn't count as an attack.
Yeah.
So here's the 4th attack.
Just brutalizing this.
So it's a so Lyroon lunges at him. The hyena leaps on his back, and does a savage punch into that spot right at the spine, and just keeps on going into that same spot until there's that.
Brilliant. So yeah, Lyroon just launches himself on top of the hyena and just starts wailing time and again in the same spot, and it's just, you can see the flesh staving in from each punch, just more and more blood and pulp pulling away, and he just keeps going, and you can see these thick black necrotic veins spreading outward from the wound from the initial punch, until eventually there's a sickening crunch, almost like a really thick branch being stepped on underfoot and it's cracking, and the whole hyena just drops dead to the ground. And for a moment, I'll just wait for Ravenous.
I can hear. I'm listening through.
All right, for a whole half second, there's just silence. There's no combat ensuing. There's no squealing hyenas or barked orders from Bossy Gnoll. And then a crowd just goes. Everyone clearly rather pleased with the blood sport, and that you have succeeded. You have defeated the Gnolls. Well done. That was pretty scary for a moment there. I thought I was going to kill my second ever player. There was literally a 45% chance of me killing my second ever player there. Whew.
I was very concerned, and I was going to have very stern words with you after this.
How dare you! Are you sure you balanced it correctly? That was
I was
balanced.
gonna literally be like, what the hell?
No, I always balance. It's Kobold Calculator. It's their fault if it goes wrong.
Kobold calculator?
Yeah,
It's their fault if it goes
yeah,
wrong.
it's like it's a tool for working out like the right amount of enemies to put against people, basically based on the levels. But yeah, you've claimed victory. Well done.
As
Just about.
as the the crowd settles down, Lyroon is always already wiping his bloody fists off onto the the thick matted fur of the hyena, getting off from the corpse. Gives a beleaguered back pat to Baruch. Thank you for that. You saved my life.
Ravenous is not joining in this and is literally just going around going, yes!
Just showboating.
In the crowd, bringing
We
up-
did it. But yeah, Burke would just nod. It had to be done. And with that, he leans down and inspects the longsword. Is it as good as promised? Are there any gashes in it?
Exactly as promised. It's not even, the blood seems to be even dripping away from it. It's not even getting stained. And there's not a single scratch on it. It is immaculate.
Nice.
That is exactly what I wanted to pay for then.
Yeah. Little does Burke know that's because of the arcane influences upon the sword. But yeah, it's just so sharp that blood can't stay on it.
It's just a damn well made sword.
Yeah. The
That's
finest.
not how that works.
Don't let him know that you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's magic. It's magic.
It's going to be a whole campaign of not letting Burke know that what he's got is magic.
It's the B plot of the whole campaign.
The gauntlets are technically magic as well, are they not?
Oh yeah, they're very magic.
They're completely magic, and
We
luckily
just don't tell him these things.
yeah, he's wearing gauntlets atop of his gloves, which is why he can't see them glowing in faint purple as all of those strikes did. Hopefully. Unless.
Thing is, would he, after using them for a long period of time, if he happened to not have them under gloves and saw them glow, would he still then be like, ugh?
Unlikely to be honest. I mean, he's not against magic as a whole. It's more the concept of someone buying and selling magic does not sit right with him.
Oh.
And everything that Ravenous does.
That as well. So
Well,
okay, if we want to expand into that, the way Burke sees magic is basically an extension of one's willpower. So if you see Lyroon healing, causing necrosis, and that, it's just basically magic flowing through him, making his strikes more powerful. In Ravenous's case, well, magic is establishing that she is not exactly the person Burke wants to be about, which is a bit awkward.
And she looks after him and they're friends.
Yeah, and opens portals to unknown space, which
Okay,
which is
yeah.
not
Tentacles
good.
that whisper.
Tentacle, sucky, whispery sounding, or maybe a little bit evil, but she's not used it on you. In fact, she's used it
Yet.
for you to protect you.
That
Yeah,
is
she's not
entirely
used
fair.
it yet.
It's
I'm not going to use it on you guys. What the heck?
it's more the whole idea of him. If that is where your mind is, then things are not great. And now, if you look through that frame, what do you think he might think of Victoria, who's straight up selling magic?
That's why he never goes into the shop.
No, it ticks all the wrong boxes for him. If you have a lot of magic to the point you want to sell it, how did you acquire it? Where does it come from? It's just very wrong.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, can't I, Joe?
Yeah.
And also, what does he make of, her uses of the Hat of Disguise? Well, I guess he doesn't know.
I haven't heard of Hat of Disguise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 'cause he's
Not
never
really
been.
that
He's
hard.
never been there for the
Yeah.
conversations.
Doesn't know about Akuga activities. So, Ravenous just showboating for the crowd, still stood halfway up the wall, just like,
Oh no,
I'm
she's
the
walked down.
greatest.
And she's now walking past these two, having their moment, fuck that shit. Walks right to the middle of the arena, making her rounds.
Just like we did this, I did this.
just releasing eldritch blasts into the air.
Making fireworks. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you got minor illusion actually, so you could even make fireworks, or little 5 feet fireworks, but still. Yeah. Meanwhile, yeah, Buruk and Lyroon have their moment. Yeah, Lyroon has no idea that that he spent an entire round, on death's door, being left to die. As far as you're aware, it's just awaken, and it's all fine. So
Awaken. Sorry.
The two gentlemen that you had seen on your way in that had met you at the door come out to greet you. Well, they come out actually either side of the entrance that you came out of, and then you see the familiar sight of the patron of this arena. She's wearing a thick, luscious fur-trimmed cloak, that same large-ish red gem hanging around her neck on a necklace. This is the person when you first met in Daggerford, well, except for Buruk, the first person you first met in Daggerford, who's speaking with Hala. This is the patron of the arena, who I still
I'm
haven't...
guessing you forgot to check the name of, yeah.
Still haven't looked up the name of. It's in my notes somewhere, but it doesn't really matter. Comes out, she's got 3 leather bags in her hands, and marches up towards you. Well fought. That was pretty impressive. I liked the dramatic tension you added for the crowd. And she just gives a nod to Lyroon.
Lyroon gives the stinkiest eye back.
Performance check?
Sure.
Yeah, let's see how stinky your eye is. And let's stick on some appropriate music. Not that
Can't
stinky.
even do that.
Yeah.
I'm just too nice a guy to be.
No, it's more a case of that your eye's so swollen up. It's quite hard to tell if it's stinky or not. It's just you're just wincing.
You're already like this, and then you kind of give the stink eye like this, and it's the same.
It's just the same expression. And she's like, "Nice. Well, here's the gods. As promised, 80 gold pieces each.
Nice.
Work hard done. So, enjoy. How are you spending it? Will I see you down at the River Shining later?
Wait, where were we staying before?
I can't remember.
I think you've only ever visited the River Shining Tavern. Lady Luck is where Danny Tefito was staying.
Oh no,
What?
Right, but he was pulled out before he actually went inside.
He has been arrested. Ravenous, would you mind sorting me a beverage?
Oh, yes, sir. Of course, sir. Hold on, sir.
I haven't had this service in a while. It's quite nice. Yeah, hands out your gold. Hard pay for hard work done.
Can I swap my 80 gold for her necklace that has a shiny thing on it?
You can certainly ask.
Okay, give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, right. What did the other two of you do? Well, so she's handed you your pouches of gold.
Burke would just accept it, weigh it in its hand, apprehensively, nods, realize that, it doesn't weigh quite as much as he'd expected to, but this wasn't exactly the place for complaining about it. Stashes it in his bag, checks on Lyroon. Is he standing? Is he wobbling about? Does he need any help?
He punches himself 3 times.
Nice.
So you can see physically actually Lyroon's shoulders sort of squaring with each sort of pulse of internal energy as he seems to focus in upon his internal chi and harness the power of the Path of Mercy. Thank you, darling.
Your beverage.
That little bow, it's chef's kiss.
Yeah. It's, there's a lot of sarcasm in the bow though.
As it's supposed to be in any British conversation.
So
British people sarcastic. Ha! Never happens.
Yeah. And Ravenous, you were gonna try and petition for it to be swapped for her gem.
Yeah.
How do you
I'll
do
be
so?
like,
Sorry. Very brief aside. When she asks what we're spending the gold on, I immediately respond, a healing potion for my friend here. He deserves at least one back.
Remember, you owe me money. Nudge, nudge.
No, not anymore.
So many debts being accrued. Right, Ravenous?
So I go, oh, I've always admired the necklace that you have round your neck. Shit. I was wondering how much it might take to for you to let this go at all.
Somehow I think far, far more than you have earned. Try over 10 times what I just gave you.
How does that make any sense? It's what is it, like a ruby? I've got like 5 of those, and I know that's not how much they're worth according to the dungeon master. So...
This is far more than some simple ruby. This, and she just plucks out the gem and sort of eyes it for a second. This has kept me alive all these years. You see the scar? And she points this long tracing scar down the side of her face, all the way down her neck, and disappears beneath her clothing. If not for this, that would have killed me.
How might one acquire such a shiny, useful trinket?
But Victoria, of course. You know,
Aww.
she sometimes gets in these items, special. But, as I say, it's not cheap.
Okay. I don't suppose you know when she gets her wares in regularly, because whenever we've been, her entire stock is cleared out by that bumbling buffoon Flash Fart.
And you can see there's a sort of chuckle from her from that. She clearly holds no love for him either. You know, after when the big trading events happen, you should try swinging by hers after harvest close. Or during. There's a lot of traders come into town.
Well, thank you for the tip. I shall make a visit around that time.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. You were putting on a good display for the crowds, and as you watch around, you can actually see them starting to disperse. This is clearly the last fight of the day. Some of them are very much the worse for wear and sort of swaying as they walk. But yeah, for the most part, they're clearing out.
Hang on, I need to grab my iPad charger because of D&D Beyond draining all my energy. Hold on.
Interesting. Didn't expect that to drain all the energy. And yeah, so you can see the crowd starting to pile out, and you can see there's been 1 or 2 little victory trophies being thrown into the arena sands. Nothing major, mostly just like a flower here and there. There is
What?
there is 1 pair of underwear.
Rabbits doesn't wear any. It's fine.
Yeah, they're quite large. You don't know who threw them. You didn't see at the time, but they look.
I think on that reason alone, Brooke would pass.
No.
Just because they're large underwear.
You know, if they were skimpy, whoa.
Oh wow, you'd be right on them then.
That's a memento right there.
Yeah, use it as a headband. Being non-biased for what it was. No, but jokes aside, I think Brooke would just, grab the pouch, put it where it's supposed to be, dig the shield into the ground, leave it basically standing where it was. He's curious actually about the shield. It's served him quite well given the situation, but maybe later.
Yeah.
And with that, he would be heading towards the exit. No thanks, just a brief nod towards the arena master. Not really engaging in much of a discussion. You can see the adrenaline is still dying down in him.
Yeah. There's ever so slight jitteriness to his movements. Lyroon, on the other hand, there is a sheer exhaustion to him from depleting all of his ki and from becoming incredibly close to death. Ravenous, on the other hand, was absolutely fine.
I'm just like going around picking up all the flowers and just sticking them into my hair.
Okay, yeah, good.
And I come out looking like a bushel.
Oh.
Give me an investigation check. Let's see how many flowers you get. You'll get at least 1, but we'll see if you get more than that.
You get at least.
At least 1. But yeah, you troop your... Well, Lyroon, unless there's anything else from you?
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, alright, so you troop your way out of the arena with your winnings in hand. What did you get for the investigation check?
Oh.
Right, you get just 1 flower, I'm afraid. But that's quite pretty. It's a daffodil.
That's cool. It goes with my colour scheme. That makes me happy.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of worked out. It's bright yellow flower tucked in just around one of your horns, just amongst the hair. There's this wild, crazy amount of hair that she's got. And yeah, you troop your way out of the arena, back onto the streets of Daggerford. And yeah, so you find yourself once again at a relatively loose end. It's now moved on a bit in time. It's getting towards the evening now, so all the shops are closed, the arena's closing now. Really the only places that are open are the taverns, in fact. There are 3 of them. There's the River Shining, the Lady Luck, and the one that I can never remember the name of. Give me a moment.
Happy Cow.
There we go. Good memory.
That's what it was.
The Happy Cow Tavern. So yeah, there are 3 taverns in town. You've only been to the River Shining so far.
It's especially silly how I remembered it, seeing as though I'm not even on that server anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like good memory because you haven't interacted with that for quite a long time. But yes, so yeah, Ravenous had been keen to go visit the Happy Cow at some point, but you hadn't been. There's Lady Luck, which is where Danny DeVito had been staying until you got him arrested, and then there's the River Shining, which is where you guys have been staying at until now, and is the largest in town.
I would prefer to stop by the River Shining because I already bought a bottle of alcohol at the River Shining and don't want to walk in with booze to a different tavern. Sounds rude.
Yeah. Might have a bottle fee.
I wanted to get an udder bowl. It's like a fish bowl, but it's in a bowl that looks like an udder from the Happy Cow. I don't think they exist. I just came up with it now, but it exists now.
Give me a deception check.
What? That's not a deception. That's just me giving you a very good idea.
I just want to see how believable you are when you talk about it. Oh, it might be real, but you haven't been there. You don't know if it's real.
I have +8 to my deception. That's a 25.
Yeah, I mean that is you know as far as the rest of you are concerned, that was utterly believable. That was a perfectly legitimate. She seems absolutely certain in that.
Didn't exist.
We're going to go like an udder bowl. Why would you want that? You mean you would drink milk from that? Yeah.
No, it's just an alcohol container. It's just like a bowl, and it stands on the 4 other peaks. That's its length, so that it stays stable.
I'd rather stay to a tankard. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And as we are walking, Brooke would keep an eye out. You did mention that all the stores are closed, but is specifically the general store closed, just as we're passing by?
So it's about 7 p.m. now.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so. I think everywhere. The only places that are open are basically places where you have fun. So the taverns, perhaps a smutty bookshop of some kind, but certainly...
Smutty bookshop?
That is the best euphemism for the place you intended to say. but yeah, I think Burke would start by General Store just to see how closed are well, and continue on going towards the taverns.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, Lyron would actually head to the River Shining.
Okay.
The same here, frankly.
Ravenous?
I mean, I'm not going to just split from the party for no reason. I'm not going to drink alone. I'm not some kind of loser.
Yeah.
I love that look to the side like, oh.
Unfortunately, I would. Right, so, yeah, the 3 of you with your earnings in your pockets make your way over to the River Shining Tavern. And it's much the same as you've seen it in the previous nights. Not quite as busy when you first arrive at the city. It's not been raining, so everyone hasn't been forced inside. You can see there's a few people out in the streets, but much as you saw earlier in the day, there's a fewer refugees around than you had seen in the previous days, and you're just starting to see some areas of the streets being like signposted, staked out for certain stands to be created. There's no structures being created or anything like that, but you can see certain people have started to lay claim to certain areas.
Can I start giving out popcorn to the children?
You certainly may. To the refugee kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
To see if I see them.
See how many and which ones. There's a specific one I have in mind.
It's so bad.
You can,
Oh,
you know.
that's a 6.
Yeah, so no, unfortunately, you don't see any sign of Mikhailo, but you do.
I wouldn't beat him anyway. He's an asshole.
But you do.
What
see-
about Gertrude?
Yeah, exactly.
She's allowed them.
Yeah,
But like Mikhailo, no, he gets nothing.
yeah. So you don't see
Ungrateful
any that
brat.
you've found in the past. You just see new generic refugee children that I will not go
Generic?
I will not deign to describe beyond that they are dirty and hungry.
I do a performance check, which I've run, of 17, where I start going, come on, hungry children, popcorn for the masses, taken directly from the corn losses. Come get it while it's cold. Because it's so old now.
Yeah, and you know,
Look at Dale.
it's not the ideal sales pitch, but then they're hungry, and so they soon come flocking around and taking whatever popcorn that you're handing out. How about you, Lyroon and Burke? How are you reacting to this while she's distributing recently ex-living popcorn?
Yeah, actually, that's. Hey, Ravenous, do you think it's wise to hand out the popcorn? We don't know what sort of lingering corruption exists inside the evil corn.
Well, I've been eating it for the last couple of hours, and nothing's happened.
And
to
you've
me.
also summoned tentacles from the void of space.
At
That
this
is
point,
true.
Burke grows a bit more concerned about this whole point. Before that, he was thinking, they're well roasted, it's fine. But you do have a point here.
You're gonna
Well-
pee while you discuss.
Like I say, nothing's happened to me so far, and I've been eating it since I found that first big gigantic kernel, and that wasn't even cooked. So I think they're safe.
Well, if anything happens, it will be on your head. Shall
I'm trying to
we?
do something nice. Why are you guys raining on my parade?
Because
Just
I care about the children.
So do I. That's why I'm giving them popcorn.
Sometimes sources can taint the. Sometimes a taint at the fuck.
You're just talking about taints now. Disgusting.
Exactly.
Ryan. Honest to God, I never expected this from you.
Sometimes a corruption at the source of a river can flow all the way down it.
Well, I guess if something happens to me and I start going funny, then maybe then we can worry, and we'll have to go check on the kids. But I think we're okay. Personally,
Fair enough.
well,
I guess it's down to Mr. DM at this point.
yeah, if it causes trouble, we'll know where it came from at least. Come, let's have dinner. I'm starving after that match.
Okay.
Okay.
I wonder how Hazer and Nanto are getting on with their courtships.
Oh, they died.
They got a Gnoll STD and died. I'm joking.
They know where to find us if need be. Besides, there are like 3 taverns around in Daggerford at this time of day, it seems.
Actually, I would pull up my sending stone, which I believe Nanto has the other one, and say,
You have 25
meet
words.
us at the River Shining Tavern when you are done with your Gnoll adventures.
Adventures is one word. It's fine.
I know, but
Hey, there's that pause of like whatever
Try
you're
to call
doing.
them adventures.
And then just quite the remaining letters are just words are just question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
oh, we're having great fun. I can't believe all the wonderful stories that I'm finding out. Did you know that? And he just continues wittering on and on until he's eventually
That's
cut
more
off.
than 20. Yeah, that's what
Until he just keeps going until he's cut off by the spell abruptly through no choice of his own. Apparently not knowing or caring that there's a word limit. Doesn't give any indication as to whether he is or will come back at some point tonight.
Excellent.
He doesn't need sleep. It's fine.
It's true.
Hazer, however, does. So I don't know what's happening with him.
Yeah, he didn't
Burke
mention
is nervously watching Lyroon speaking into nothingness.
just at stone.
Yeah. She just sighs, nods. I think we are all tired for today, aren't we? Just
Picks up a magic rock, talks into it. Lyru must be crazy.
I think you also have earrings of.
No, he doesn't.
I do.
Oh, Lyroon does. I think
Yeah.
you meant Baruch.
No,
It's
Lyran.
because it's because in the picture the hilt looks like in Baruch's picture the hilt looks like an earring. I really misjudged this.
Oh no, I think Baruch might have an earring anyway, though.
I mean,
No.
as it is in the picture, he doesn't, but he definitely wouldn't be opposed. There's a very good chance that at least at some point his ears are pierced.
You know, you're the artist. You could change that.
That would mean doing
No,
things.
she doesn't go back. Only forwards.
Only
What are you,
forwards.
Edna?
Edna mode. I'm assuming that's not the Edna you meant.
No, that is.
It was.
Oh, it was. Okay.
It's a
She
quote.
had a quote. Never look forward.
yes.
Never look backwards, darling. Distraction from the future.
Omnipowered.
Yeah.
She is
So-
one of the best characters. But anyway.
So, you hand out popcorn to the children, whether that's wise or not. Certainly, there doesn't seem to have been any effect on Ravenous so far. Make your way over to the River Shining Tavern to celebrate. Not only today have you defeated a bunch of Khorne, the Khorne Lossus, and a bunch of Gnoll, but you've made a couple of purchases. I think Baruch got his fabulous sword. Lyroon, I think you got your items identified. Or
Yes.
the crystal.
I got Baruch's items identified.
Yeah,
and
that's gonna tricked me into getting my own items.
and you've equipped Baruch with the gloves of ogre strength. We'll call them rather than gauntlets. And it's been a pretty good day of adventuring. As adventuring days go, you know, you've acquired one of the best items you could get for your fighter. You've acquired a decent amount of gold, and it's time to celebrate. So you make your way over to the River Shining Tavern. When you get inside, the Liliana, the arena patron, I've figured out her name, is not there just yet. But there is a decent amount of patrons there. Not quite as busy when you first arrive in Daggerfall because it hasn't been raining. But you can see there's one table of noble gentlemen. Not quite the same ones that Ravenous had pilfered a gem from before, but not entirely dissimilar either. It feels like a fairly similar crowd that probably would know each other. One of them stands out a little from the others. He's wearing these fairly bright coloured clothing, almost like he's peacocking, essentially. And he's got a big hat, a big wide-brimmed hat with a feather sticking out of it. Another table that you see, actually, sorry, I'm being over enthusiastic.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Make a perception check.
Some perceptions.
Give me some perception checks. Tell you what, you can either separately make perception checks, or you can give advantage to one of you giving a perception check.
26.
Right,
Okay,
so
we don't need any more perception checks.
I was correct in my.
I have to puzzle. Hold on. Sorry.
Also, Ravenous's webcam is currently off.
Right.
Or frozen.
Yeah, now it's updated and she's gone.
Yeah.
I get the impression my work laptop is struggling a lot. It's worrying, really, in a way that it can't handle Discord. How is it meant to run vast quantities of data?
I don't know, but apparently I have one that's exactly the same in specs compared to yours. Which
Really?
is worse. Yeah, it is quite a bit worse than most of the analysts have.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys are meant to get the better ones.
Exactly. I've been asking for it for a couple times now.
Because there was an idea a while back that we would have like cloud compute. I only vaguely understand the concept, but cloud computing, so there's a bunch of whizzy things.
Yeah, that's due in a couple of years with that new project of ours.
Oh, Well,
Yeah, so it is one of the changes that should happen in theory. We'll see
Oh.
how it goes in practice.
I'll wait with unbated breath.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you make your way into the tavern, and yeah, as immediately Lyroon and Buruk, but actually Ravenous, give me your perception roll just so we can see what each of you are perceiving. But Lyroon and Buruk are going to perceive everything because they rolled astonishingly well. I was right in my enthusiasm. I just predicted your dice rolls.
Yeah, we just both went ahead and that went did it.
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
shit.
Just walk in. I see everything and your souls.
18.
Yeah.
It's not a 20, but it's an 18.
I just actually looked. You both nat 20'd it.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what they just said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I just heard
I
nat
took that
20
in
and I
blind
thought one of
faith.
you had rather than both of you.
Both of us.
Wow. So yeah, you
No,
guys.
no, I couldn't nat 20 the death saving throw. Oh no, don't be
no.
absurd.
I've only ever done that once in
But
like 2
looking around
years.
a tavern.
But so you walk in, and immediately Buruk and Lyroon's eyes, you're still hyped up from the arena. There's adrenaline still somewhat pumping through your veins, and so your eyes are sort of hypersensitized, and you're just picking out every single last detail of every person you see in the tavern. Ravenous, you're not far off from that state, but not quite to the same extent. Even so, you all immediately pick out that group of noblemen, especially the peacocking one. You also see there's one table that looks like a group of adventurers. Over in one corner, and they seem to be rather enjoying themselves. They, in a similar fashion to Lord Flashart's group, actually, they seem like they are pretty damn capable, but nowhere near the same amount of dickishness. So you see one who is human. He's got long, dark brown ponytail, slicked back, pulled behind his head. He's sort of got this ever-present grin touching his lips. He's just sort of grinning between each of his companions as he's talking to them, and it's a fabulous moustache riding atop it.
I know who this is.
Does he have a cloak?
He
that
does have a
billows?
cloak.
Does he have a cloak that never ceases to billow?
Yeah, and even though he's sitting down at a table, he's got this cloak, this forest green coloured cloak that seems to just constantly ripple out to his left of its own accord. Sitting beside him is a hulking, scary looking fellow. Massive, muscular form, thick plated, natural skin made of scales. He's a lizard folk. Basically a lizard person, and this guy, he's got this humongous anime-sized level greatsword strapped across his back. But given the size of him, you don't think you'd have any trouble wielding that. And his face comes into a protruding snout. And while to many he would seem incredibly fearsome, and in fact to Ravenous he does appear that way, to Buruk and Lyroon, given their nat 20 perceptions, they would get observing him just in that snap moment. They would see that there is not any hostile intention to him. He just seems happy and alert to what is going on around him. Opposite them. Oh, sorry?
One quick question on that point. Is he speaking in any Draconic?
Not currently.
Alright. Just checking.
Yeah. Not that you notice currently, at least, walking in. Opposite the two of them, there seems to be a pale-looking fellow. And he seems to be sort of twitching, looking a bit with deep bags under his eyes, almost as if he hadn't slept ever. He just looks almost psychotic. And you can see every time he talks that everyone just turns to look at him, but then gradually looks more baffled as he speaks. And he's got this messy, wild hair around his head.
What's his race?
Half elf.
He's half elf.
I think. Yeah.
His
I'm
grandmother
guessing
was
these are all
human.
people. I was gonna say, I'm guessing these are all people other than Julio. I'm guessing these are people that you guys know from other servers.
I most certainly know Zoctavir.
Excuse me? No, just kidding.
Oh,
Yeah. And then there's a fourth member to their party. Almost incongruous with such a group of people. A dashing nobleman almost. A hulking, brutish lizard folk. A fairly insane seeming half-elf. And then a nun. pretty incongruous with that group of people. So she's wearing a habit, the traditional wear of a nun. Dark, plain-looking robes, and she's quite bulky-looking. Wide, not wider than she is tall, but too far along that spectrum to be comfortable. And she's got a fairly serious expression generally to her features. Every now and then there's a slight mischievousness to her expression, but for the most part she just seems stern, as if she's used to being in a position of authority and having to look after others. So that's one other table. And then in the rest of the tavern, you can see there's the usual common fare of the River Shining. There's commoners. There's There are a few farmers actually, even despite the situation of late. There's some farmers who've been able to make the most of what crops they're able to still grow. There is a few of the people who've been watching the fights in the arena who piled out and carried on celebrating, and as soon as they see you guys enter, they're like, "Way!" Still don't know your names, so they just celebrate and cheer, but then return to their drinks and just talk loudly amongst themselves, because in that fashion that people who've had too much alcohol do so. So, you're in the River Shining. What do you do?
First things first, we did speak about big purchases made today, and when I grabbed the pouch, I would open it and check the contents. Given its weight, it seemed to be a bit fuller than it should be. I will pick out 5 gold pieces to add to my current savings, and hand the rest of the pouch to Ravenous.
Ooh.
Thanks.
A loan to be repaid after all.
You helped him out with paying for his fancy sword.
The sword.
It's not all of it, but 75 gold is most of the loan, really.
Hang on, let me see what. Oh yeah, because I gave you 100. Did I give you 100?
Yep. And that's 75 of it back.
Okay, so let me just add that to my gold. Beep. And then how much is it? We got 80 altogether.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm actually going to give 70 to Ravioli.
Yeah, 70.
And now I'm going to mark that off.
Very good.
So
I don't know how much else it is that you owe me still. I don't.
Well, it's
actually-
133 minus 70, which is a number.
It is a
53
number.
or something like that. Anyway, no more than that. Brooke,
It is 60 exactly.
Yeah, Brooke does maths.
Who would never do that.
So in
He
our,
doesn't do that kind of thing.
in
That's
our
magic.
jobs, his side is the one that does the maths. I'm just the one who tells the maths. So you exchange your various goals, settling your various debts. You're in the tavern.
Ravenous just has that
Yep.
sparkly-eyed look of, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so nice," just completely forgetting that she's owed this money.
She just thinks she's getting given free gold.
She just throws money left, right, and center. If it's not a shiny object, like it's not leaving her person, but like she does not track gold.
Fair enough.
Good to know.
But yes, as we enter the tavern, my pouch is pretty much empty after repaying the loan, but it's enough to get a good night's rest paid for, a decent dinner as well. So I would be heading right to the barkeep to order up some reasonable food, taking a place on one of the empty tables by the sides. And as it waits, I would just be idly watching the group that we've seen of adventurers nearby. Not paying much time to the nobles, really.
Nobles are dumb, but adventurers, I mean, they are. Who would actually play a noble? Gross. But the adventurers are they have stories. They have interesting everything. Go to the barkeep, get a hearty vegetarian meal, and then make a sit down at a table next to the adventurers and listen in.
Okay.
Sorry, did you say hearty or vegetarian?
Um,
Sorry, not
La-
that nice, but
Lot of potatoes.
Lots of potatoes, some roasted
them
cauliflower.
smash
and
them, stick them in a stew.
Yeah.
And it's a different bar person on duty today. It's this one rather than the slightly
The
stoic.
dude.
Huh?
Sorry, the dude.
The
That's what I was gonna
dude.
say.
Yeah, rather than the usual guy that you're talking to who's a bit slightly boorish and utterly baffled by the concept of vegetarian food. Someone who's equally baffled by the concept of vegetarian food, but is female this time. She's slightly thick set and I kind of perpetual glower to her.
Look, just give me some Ritz crackers and a jar of peanut butter.
Ooh.
Can somebody tell me why I recognize this piece of music?
Mass Effect.
Is it?
It sounds like that's all it makes me think of when I hear it.
Like, I've heard this a million times, but for the life of me, I could never tell you.
Which is why I would say Mass Effect, because you've watched me play a lot of it.
Heard you play, watched you, no. Heard you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Witnessed me play a lot of it.
Witness me.
What is that a reference to?
I'm so lost on this.
Sorry?
If you have not seen that movie, you should.
What movie?
It's a good movie.
Which one?
Mad Max Fury Road.
So we have watched that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just the famous Nutcalber Swiss cheese brand.
Full of holes?
To be fair, when we watched this movie, the stream in the cinema stopped. And we had to, like, yes!
Yeah, the internet crapped out.
Yeah, the internet crapped out. The stream, it kept glitching out, and then it completely stopped. And then some poor guy, like, clearly, like, the new person that was hired in as, like, one of the stewards, like, had to walk in and was like, I'm really sorry, but the stream has stopped. Your bandwidth's bad. And literally everyone was like, boo! Like, really harsh to this kid. And he's like, we're good.
Are you cut out?
And I'm really sorry. No, I was just basically really apologetic, and I felt so bad for this kid.
Yeah, it's this spotty pubescent teen was sent out to make it up to everyone, and yeah, some people were like, free food, free drinks, free tickets, and just immediately started demanding things, and he's just like, but in the end, I can't help you. In the end, we did all get our tickets reimbursed. Yeah, we got a free further film to see.
Nice.
It's pretty good, but. And they resumed, it was only about a 10-minute break, which was great because it was like,
it wasn't long.
I usually want an intermission anyway.
Sam likes to stop a movie halfway through to say what he thinks is going to happen, and then he's usually right, and I hate him for it.
It's a family trait.
It turns out that people who DM a lot understand tropes. It's one of those things.
Huh? Who would have known?
Right? And that's all I ever say to you is when I predict something correctly, is like, it's just because it's a trope, it's just predictable. But no, my family actually would pause films halfway through to take a toilet break, make some tea, discuss what we think's going to happen, and then watch the rest. And as it turns out, if you spend all your formative years as a child doing that, you get quite good at guessing what's going to happen, and it kind of ruins films.
You guys are aware of the website TV Tropes, right? Really?
I wish I wasn't.
Well, first of all, Baruch is right. TV Tropes is a very dangerous place. It's a good way to waste like an entire week.
I mean, did you not hear that I have a week off on holiday?
Exactly.
I was going to say, Sam, that's perfect for you.
So TV Tropes is great because it has all those tropes that you're talking about, and they're all codified and named, and then given the trillion examples in popular media.
Let's split up, gang.
Let's go in the basement with no lights towards the scary noise.
Let me try and find a random TV tropes. I'm just trying to find how theirs. Oh, they've changed quite a bit actually.
Well, no, I'm getting Tesco mobile adverts and I don't like it. Yeah, right. I already have Tesco mobile. Why are you advertising to me?
Right?
Anyway. So, after all of that tangent,
sorry. So yeah, they're listening in on the group of adventurers. Ravenous, however, has decided to make her way towards the arena goers to see how many free drinks she can score from the whole premise of the fact that they watched her fight and are quite into it.
You're gonna go ride on the fan service.
If I can get something for free, I'ma do it.
All right. There's many things you could get for free from them.
I don't like the way you said that.
dirty mind. So we'll start with Lyroon and Brooke. Yeah, so well, first of all, actually, sorry, you make your way to the bar and you're getting your drinks and you're ordering your foods, and Ravenous is gone. And
Bitch. No, I'm joking.
and yeah, it's a different bar person to the usual one that you get. So it's not this slightly boorish guy. It's a slightly thick-set, equally boorish woman who's all right, lovelies. How you doing?
It's been a lot better. I'll be fantastic after a good night's rest.
Yeah, you look like you could use one. Well, how about a few flagons of ale?
Just
actually-
one will be plenty.
I still have half a bottle of wine that I bought yesterday, so I'll be good.
All right, then. Well, that'll do you nicely. How about the pair of you? And she just looks to Burke and Ravenous.
Oh, I went off to get free drinks, remember?
Yeah, you've gone straight for free drinks. So you're not even going to the bar. What about Burke?
Just one will be plenty, thank you. As long as the food's good, that's all that matters, really. You got any meat today?
And she just props an elbow on the bar, rests her chin into it, and this slightly thick-set woman, like one side of her hair is shaved, the other half is just it's slightly matted and just pulled over to one side, and she's like, "Wow, kids all in the eye of the beholder, or the mouth of the taster, innit? Well, yeah, we got a few bits in the kitchen if you fancy it, Mr. Hobgoblin."
It's Brooke.
I was going to say, I don't know if you should be offended or not by that.
Yeah, I think
It is actually Brooke Hobgoblin, so she's not wrong.
Okay,
It's like saying hello, Mr. Human.
Yeah, like...
Like she wouldn't be immediately offended, but she's just like, all right, I'll give you something better to call
I
me.
have a name.
Yeah. But what meats have you got today?
Well, if you wait a little while, I hear that we're getting some freshly cooked hyena in. Otherwise,
Oh, I'm not happy about this.
And what else?
otherwise, we got some goats, fairly good quality from what I hear. Otherwise, there is a little bit of chicken, although I have to say it is a little bit old. I would recommend the goat personally, sir.
I'll go for the goat then.
Wise choice.
Yep. And whatever ale you've got, no need for fancy stuff. I just need to wash down the food, really. And he hands a couple silver coins to go with that. Almost just making a note that, and don't try to sell me anything else here. That's about all.
And at the mention of not offering fancy ales, there's almost a snort of amusement for them. Yeah, all right, I'll make sure not to give you the good stuff. And then she turns away to this cask of ale that's behind her and just pulls out a flagon and starts pouring it in. And yeah, it just seems like your standard ale. Pours it out, pops it in the counter in front of you. Right, where are you going to be sitting?
How many empty tables are there to begin with?
There's 4 empty tables. Yeah, one I think Lyroon had clocked earlier, which is the one by that group of adventurers that you had seen. There's one over in a corner that's fairly far removed from everyone. One that's just by the posh group of noblemen, and then one that's by a bunch of farmers.
I think I would be pointing at the one-year adventurers because I was a bit curious about them as well.
Okay.
Just over there, please.
Right, so yeah, the one by the matron and the noble fighter,
Yep.
and all the rest of them. Cool. All right. Well, I'll make sure your goat makes its way over to you. Do you want any sides of that? Got a special
Whatever.
on potato slices?
Whatever you can offer for that. I'll eat everything, frankly. She just gives that resigned look of, look, I'm not here to make a delicious meal, just give me food.
Yeah. And she just raises that pair of silver. I'll make it worth your while. Don't worry. And she just tucks the silver into the counter. Lyroon, anything else from you?
It specifies that something without meat, please.
Sure thing. I'll bring you some disappointment over along soon enough. young sir.
Oh, wow. That's so rude.
Oh, it's medieval times. There is no respect for vegetarians, especially in human
Fair
lands.
enough.
Especially
Okay,
in
yeah,
human
okay.
lands. So she's announced she's going to bring you disappointment, but that's about it.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Par for the course.
I'm used
Whatever.
to this shit.
Yeah.
no, I'm
your
like,
Chinese either.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see to it. Don't you worry. And sends you off on your way. So while Burke and Lyroon take Burke's ale, Lyroon, I'm guessing you're hopping up to your bedroom to go get your half bottle of wine.
Oh no, I have it in backpack.
Oh, it's in the backpack the whole time. Cool. All right. Retrieving the half bottle of wine from your backpack. Meanwhile, Ravenous has made her way directly over towards the group of arena fans. Now, these are mostly common folk. They're not exactly nobles or anything. So there's no visible jewellery, shinies upon them.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm not after the jewelry with these lot. I'm just after free drinks.
Yeah. So the table you've selected, there's 3 men. 2 men and a woman. Sorry.
Oh.
Two men and a woman. One man, he's thick set. His neck almost as thick as his head, in fact. And aside from his eyebrows, utterly hairless. So there's no hair on the top of his head. It is shaved as if he is cleanly shaving it every single morning. No moustache, no facial hair whatsoever. Clearly, either it doesn't grow or he takes a great deal of care in this. The man to his left, almost the opposite of this. He has long, bedraggled looking hair. It's quite scraggly. Moustache and facial hair, like a goatee style. And it looks...
Oh, that's me currently.
It looks like
nice.
He's trying his best to grow facial hair, but it's not a great look on him. You got to wonder what he looks like without it, whether that would be better or worse. But he's got quite weaselish features. He's quite slim, and there's a slight sheen to his skin, suggesting a slight layer of grease.
It's medieval times. We only bathe once a week.
Exactly. The woman, to that point, she's got a long hair that goes behind her back and set in braids, and it's sort of braided together. The braids are braided together, sort of thick clumps of hair all wound around one each other, to fall down her back into a long ponytail. Her complexion, she's got a few freckles across her face, and she's got a fairly kind-looking face. But she sees you approaching, and she's like, "Ah, you're the lady who was competing, weren't you?"
That's me.
Well done, Onies. They couldn't get to you, could they?
Well, I have certain abilities that make me hard to hit.
And then the big one next to you. Have you sat down at this point, by the way?
Not so far. Can I just check are any of them wearing a hat? Because if they are, I'm gonna take it off their head and put it on.
Unfortunately not. Big guy doesn't need a hat. He's proud of not having any hair.
All right,
the other guy's got hair. He's too greasy. But
in which case, I'll go to the table and I'll sort of lean over at a right angle with one hand under my chin.
But
one arm on the hip.
There is a randomer on the table opposite that's got a hat. If you want to steal a random person's hat.
I don't think that would go down so well.
That's fine. All right, so you lean in, and she's like, so she just said, they couldn't get a hit on you. And then the big one, the big hairless one, is just, not for lack of trying. And he's just got a big, stupid grin on his face, and that's about it.
So I look at my gut, and I look at my shoulder, and I go, but flesh wounds on me. I'm too powerful for these small prey.
You go,
However, I've worked up a bit of an appetite for an alcoholic beverage, and then I point and wink over to Grease Boy.
So the greasy, weaselly-looking gentleman immediately is like, oh yeah, and then just slides his half-drunk flagon of ale over towards you.
Nice. Down it in one.
Damn it, well, give me a Constitution saving throw for how successfully you down in one, and also what
Wait,
effects...
you said it. Hang on. You said it was half full, so it's not going to have that much of an effect, surely.
This is more about how successfully you down it.
Oh, what did you ask for? Constitution.
Yeah, Constitution.
Why can't I find Constitution on this list?
If you go on Avrate, or on Discord rather, it's !S space con.
Okay.
Yeah, I've even written it out so you can just copy and paste it. But it's in the top left corner of this D&D Beyond. Ooh.
That's not great.
Nat 1 is not ideal result for when you're trying to down even a half pint of ale. So yeah, he slides
Would it
over.
not be a performance?
No. He slides over his half pint of ale and it just sloshes slightly in the mug from in the flagon from the movement, but you know, it's only half full, so there's no danger of it spilling over. And you just take it, much as I'm taking this in hand, and you just raise it to your lips and you start glugging. And then it's about 2 glugs in. It's just the fizz is just a bit too much for your lungs. Pardon me. Your lungs to handle, and you can feel the bubbles rising up within you, and they just force their way out of your nose, and it just forces you to sort of not quite choke, but like, maybe a small trickle of ale comes out of your nose.
And I go, oh, fizzy.
And then a greasy man's just like, yeah, it is fizzy. Wow. And you can see he's quite awkward, and meanwhile, big guy next to you is just like, and that's about all he's contributing to the conversation. Meanwhile, slightly, the braided ponytail lady is just like, you can't even handle half a pint of ale. You can murder gnolls to no end, but you can't handle ale. Oh, that's good.
Oh, well, I'd like to see you try and take down a bunch of gnolls, but, maybe you can't do that.
No, but I can handle that. And she just reaches out for your ale and starts taking it as if she's going to down it. Do you intervene?
Oh, yeah, I snatch it right out of her hands. They say, hey, I earned that. Psh.
Give me a dexterity check.
Nope.
And after this, we'll switch back.
Oh, for fuck's sake. 6.
Yeah, so you reach out, rapid lightning grab to try and wrestle the ale out of her hands, but she is clearly well versed in stealing people's drinks. And it's already at her lips. She's already glugging it back. Glup, 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 and it's gone.
While she's glugging, can I take the drink that she's currently drinking away from her? Because she's drinking, so...
I mean, you can certainly try. Give me another dexterity check, because she can still see you do it.
This is going to be so embarrassing, and I'm going to have to walk away. I had +3 to my dexterity, and I still got a fucking 6, honestly.
Yeah, I know, it's disappointing. Oh.
What is wrong with the rolling system?
I'm loving this.
It's great.
D&D Beyond, I'm so disappointed in you.
And that was that through D&D Beyond as well? It was.
Yeah,
that was the synced roll. The thing is, I even roll against you, and she got a 14 for her contested dexterity check. So almost lightning quick. And this is a lady who clearly, based on her look, her teeth, she spends a fair amount of time in the tavern. She's used to both stealing and retaining her drinks. And as fast, in fact, much faster than your hand reaches out to grab her drink, her hand is already on top of it. And there's an iron grip upon her mug. Nice try. In fact, no, she finishes off drinking the greasy man's drink, slams it down on the table, wipes the foam away from her upper lip, and there's just a little bit that's been left there, but she just wipes it up. Nice try. No, this is mine. I pay for it fair and square. And starts drinking that.
Fair enough. I fully accept this person's skill in retaining their drink and say, well, it's clear to me that you're very versed in alcoholic combat.
And you can see there's a sort of slight wobble to her as she's replying. she's skilled at retaining her alcohol. She's not so skilled necessarily at overcoming her alcohol. And yeah, she's a little bit tipsy at this point. She's just like, yeah, I know how to keep him. Meanwhile, over on just about 20 feet away, on the other side of the tavern, Buruk and Lyroon have taken away their Buruk's taken away his freshly purchased average ale. Lyroon has retrieved his half bottle of wine, I think it was, from his pack, and they're just waiting for their orders, sitting beside this table of adventurers, waiting for their meals. Are you just specifically listening in? Are you contributing what you're doing?
I am listening in. Sorry.
Same.
Okay. So
if they start, veering into a conversation that, sounds interesting, I might, interject or, move over. But for now, just listen.
Okay. So when you make your way over, the initial dialogue that you're overhearing is an almost nonsensical diatribe emitting from the slightly unhinged looking one. I won't try to play through all of it, but the gist that you're understanding is that he's got a vehement dislike for any of those who would even delve into messing with undead or resurrecting the undead or thinking that such a thing wouldn't have some kind of permanent impact on the land. Gresk, this thick-limbed lizard folk barbarian that's sitting opposite this crazed fellow, he's sort of nodding along, not quite
absent-mindedly,
but clearly he's not quite grasping the full extent of that conversation. He's just there's a slight glaze to his eyes that tell you he's nodding in agreement, but he's not necessarily understanding quite what's being discussed. He's like, yes, undead bad. And then just to his left, this matronly looking woman, this thick-set, nunnish lady, she's like, yes, undead is bad. I don't think that's in question. And then opposite her is this slightly, noble's the best word that you could use to describe him. He certainly dresses in fanciful clothes and tries to speak in such. Yes, I mean, well, you could hardly expect anyone to trust someone who brings someone back from the dead. I mean, dead belongs dead, surely. I mean, I think we're all in keen agreement upon that. Now, what if they were a good friend of yours, though? And much of their conversation just continues in that sense, where they're trying to reason out, clearly they're all in agreement that undead is bad, but what if it's bringing back from the dead a good friend?
I could certainly answer that question, and it burns me. But that's beside the point.
Hey.
Is this by chance the character that potentially perished during it's to do with a character who perished during a campaign and was potentially insinuating the bringing back of life to them?
It's all kinds of simultaneous.
In a meta sense?
There's all kinds of simultaneous conversations to it, but
sorry, Lyron, little dig.
There's all kinds of angles to it. Not least of which is that some people would be uncomfortable even with the concept of resurrection, even if it is not by necromantic senses, but through just good magics.
I'm sure at least once the argument was mentioned that, well, the dead are supposed to stay dead. That's by divine will, isn't it? Yeah. Basically, don't play with God's order.
And in fact, there are some gods that would be quite miffed at the idea of someone trying to resurrect, even through, clerics have the Revivify spell, which can resurrect someone who has died within the last minute. Druids have the True Resurrection spell that can resurrect someone within the last 100 years or something ridiculous.
Holy crap! Okay.
That costs 25,000 gold in diamond dust, though, or something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
yeah. this is high level stuff. But what they're discussing seems to be more just the general concept of someone dies in the heat of the moment, and if you try to resurrect them in the heat of the moment, is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's just me.
Yeah. No, it seems to be just debating that, basically. Is what you overhear. Any comments? Any interruptions? Or are you just listening in?
I'm technically not listening.
Yeah, you're not there, Ravenous. Sorry.
Right.
I don't think much from me. Burke would just be listening in, watching the people, frankly, more than anything. Just their mannerisms, their everything. The clothes, that seems to be a bit mesmerizing. It's curious, frankly.
Are there any open chairs at the adventurers' table?
No, but there's certainly space to slide over your own chair.
Yeah, sure, why not?
That's very forward for Lyroon.
Right, in the meantime, Ravenous, give me a perception check to see if you notice that happening. And then Burke, how would you react to seeing Lyroon sort of lifting himself up out of his chair and then just grabbing the back of it and sliding the wood noisily across the floor towards him?
I probably wouldn't be that obvious. I would probably say something like, "Do you mind first?"
I mean, Burke would, almost raise an arm to stop, but shrug. Let's let the man do what he wants.
Okay.
But as he stares at the adventuring group, I think even with his lack of knowledge about the magics, he would feel that there's a lot of magical artifacts about the group, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, even just from looking at them, just watching the nobleman, you would see his cloak billowing organically in and of its own accord. Those of the arcane sense would see a considerable amount of magic pour off them, but neither Lyroon or Burke are magicians of their own right. So I think I'm trying to think about what items they would have on hand.
I'm also thinking that from arcane presence, would Burke realize that they are most likely a higher caliber adventurers than themselves?
Yeah, I think just from listening to them, you'd be able to tell that. Ravenous, how was your perception check?
Not good. It was a 6.
Yeah, so you don't notice this happening at all. You're just busily. You're a bit too busy laughing at this lady who tried to keep her drink, steal your drink, down your drink, and then get drunk.
She's totally off her face.
Yeah, you can see she's rapidly. I mean, she was already pretty tipsy after a day at the arenas, but yeah, that extra one stolen from you has been just tipping it slightly over the edge.
Which is funny because it actually technically was stolen from her friend.
Yeah.
But okay.
The steal. Well, it was given to you from her friend, and then she stole it from you. But yeah, Burke.
Yep.
So you were. Are you sitting at the table on your own? Are you joining the table? What are you doing?
No, I think I would continue sitting there, waiting for the food, sipping the ale, listening in, but not really contributing to the conversation.
Okay, so Burke's considerably pointed ears, so just listening in as Lyroon just picks up his chair and just slides it smoothly over to their side and joins them. How do you introduce yourself?
Quick question. Does the deathly pale half elf any chance of a large tome?
Yeah, there is a thick, weighty book sitting on top of the table. It's that he seems to have attached to him by a chain.
Ominous. Sorry, couldn't resist. I with a concerned voice. What would bring the conversation to this? Is there a threat of undeath?
And yeah,
if you don't mind, of course.
This elven man just makes his way over of androgynous features, looking pretty worse for wear, if I'm honest. He's got some grievous wounds covering his flesh. Even though he's healed himself back to mostly full health, you can see blood slicked over this monkish clothing, the recently healed scars, and he's just walked over. out of the blue asking this question to their conversation, and they all just sort of pause and then turn towards him in unison. The first one to respond is the relatively noble-looking one. He's like, well, I mean, adventuring work, it comes across relatively often. It's a concern of ours, should we say. Why? Why do you ask?
Sorry, is that Julio?
That is.
Mm-hmm.
Just questioning. Okay, here I am.
That's not Julio's voice, but like this Julio's voice.
That's why I was like, what is happening here? Okay.
I mean, if you want Julio's voice, well, if you want to hear what an adventurer is asking about, that's Julio's voice.
Come on.
Well, then you should do Julio's voice.
Right?
Come on. This is going to be like the only opportunity I get to hear Julio's voice.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Takes more effort.
That's part of the DM's job. To immerse us.
Can immerse you in a different Julio.
Immerse us
Anyway,
in
so you've
our
asked your question,
ability.
so he's like, well, it comes across naturally in a adventurer's job, It's a threat. Death fights us every day. Why not?
Death nearly found me today, in fact.
Well, quite. Would you not rather a friend bring you back from death's door?
Depends on how long the body has gone. I mean, for elves, such as I, the soul goes back to God. What is his name? What is the elven deity's name?
Deity Titus.
No. Coriander? No, it's not coriander.
Let me just point out, this is our theme tune. By
This
the way.
is actually our theme tune, by the way. This is the song that plays at the start of every episode.
I love that you gave me a yes it is.
Because I could see you gasping.
I was like, it's the one.
Well, I mean, for elves such as I, the soul goes back to Corellian's realm to be reincarnated to another elf. If that soul is already gone, then what do we bring back as a monster, eh?
You see him sort of ponder that for a moment, tilting his head from side to side, and slowly his hand almost unconsciously raises to just rake these long dexterous fingers back through his long dark brown hair as he ponders this, and he's like, yes, but imagine, I doubt any monster comes back from such treatments, and perhaps imagine all the good ones such as yourself could do if they were brought back from the dead.
Perhaps, but if I was brought back without a soul, would I be still me?
Well, that's the topic of our conversation. I mean, we're talking about resurrections, not raising of the dead, as it were. I'm not talking about some zombies or skeletons. I'm talking about you and I, flesh and blood, souls inhabiting the body. I mean, really. You and I wouldn't be some soulless monster, no?
I wouldn't think so. Not if it's, a minute or a day. I mean, death
snaps.
takes time.
And he snaps his fingers. Exactly. Now, death takes time. I mean, really. That's all subjective, no? I mean, all you'll need is a sufficiently endowed friend, and you could come back in a day or two, a month or two, a year or two, 100 years if you've got a sufficiently good friend. And you could come back with your soul, all intact, and your motivations, and your goodness, and all the good deals, all the good deeds that you would inflict upon the world, no?
It just doesn't matter. Lyran's kissing dogs.
Mwah. It's a good
Oh,
book.
damn! Oh, my boy.
So basically that's his argument, is that, even 100 years, true resurrection would bring you back, and you would do all the good deeds of the world.
It does depend on your body, though. just sort of side note, I know I'm not part of this, but if your body
it
is
actually doesn't.
completely-
True resurrection requires nothing.
Yeah. It's one of those
So what,
silly...
you could come back as like a mist?
Let me show you the spell.
It remakes the body if there isn't one.
Oh, in which case, absolutely 100% fine. I'm okay with
Yeah,
this.
it takes 25,000 gold worth of diamonds that the spell consumes.
Would I know that it would require that much gold?
I think in your hundreds of years of living, you wouldn't know the precise amount, but you would know it's just an amount of gold that is beyond your comprehension.
Right. And I mentioned that is surely the one man can do quite a lot, but is the fortune of an entire nation worth bringing that one man back to life? You could raise the living of 100,000 people.
And you can see there's a genuinely pang of pain, slight anxiety in his features. This noble character's a slight twitch to his moustache of concern. And again, his fingers raise up to rake back through his hair, almost unconsciously. It's like a nervous tick, and he's like, well, some men perhaps, but some men, 25,000 gold, I would pay it, gladly. Just to see them rise again and do all the good they have done. You would be amazed what some men could do with their time.
Fair enough. But I've never had the opportunity to see 1,000th of that gold. It's.
Allow me
I'll
to
have to take
demonstrate. And
I'll
then,
have to take your word for it, and
Yeah.
then.
yeah, and then he just declares, "Allow me to demonstrate." And then he
If
just
there's any glint of shinies, no matter how bad the perception check for Ravenous is, she will fucking see it, okay?
So what he's doing is he's taking the flagon that was before him in hand, hucking it into the air, and immediately erupts up from his seat and just raises this scimitar in hand and begins weaving through the air. And it's almost like a dance. It's like he's just dancing around this flagon, weaving through with the blade over and over and over again. And 9 times in the course of 6 seconds, he's sliced this flagon apart with ease. And the shredded fragments fall to the ground. It was pretty much empty, but the meager contents just start splattering down to the table underfoot. Apparently that's his answer.
There is a faint gasp of amazement from Burke's side.
The
I'm like-
barmaid turns to him and goes, "You're gonna have to
No, apparently the barmaid's just utterly used to this and apparently took it into account with his drinks cost.
Come on now."
Attacks only 9 times? I can attack 4 times, and I'm only level 5. Ah!
But I mean, nonetheless, it's an impressive feat of swordsmanship.
Oh, yeah, obviously. I mean, that...
But,
So
What a
you would
long
say...
glug of that tankard there, Sam.
that was the end of it.
It was very long.
Mm,
Very dramatic.
yes,
Do you require a refill by chance?
yes. But we're over time anyway, so we're fine.
It, there are certainly people that loved ones that I would love back. They would love to have back, but that's only through. So many people have just lived their lives. You can't bring them back from that.
You can see there's this sort of nodding acceptance from this nobleman as he considers and weighs this. Yes, I mean, certain folks will have a much more dramatic impact than others. That is fair. But one such as my friends here, and he just gestures towards Gresk and then gestures to this man at his right. It's this pale-looking fellow to his right, the lizard and the pale-looking fellow. We can make more than a little impact on those around us. I mean, imagine if there were, say, a leech. And then at that word, you can see the hulking lizard folk sort of tense, and a sort of growl blossom across his lips, almost of its own accord. Imagine if there were a leech, and they had enraptured dozens, hundreds of people to their whim. One such as myself or my friends here. Perhaps alone we would not be able to fight them, but together we can stand to make a difference. Your loved ones, I'm sure they're very important to you, but one such as us, perhaps they would be able to stop him, certainly along the side the rest of us.
That was so abrupt.
Yeah, I just noticed the music had gone pretty strange over the last...
Silence.
Yeah, well, because the song before that one sounded like battle music, and I was like, what is going on here? So I was just queuing up my preferred RP playlist.
You mean like Bikini Bottom and such?
Well, my preferred RP playlist is just the acoustic guitar playlist.
What say you, Lyrone, to such things that have been mentioned?
Battling a lich seems so far-fetched. Surely it'd be impossible for even people such as you.
Nothing is impossible for such as me. And then he just quirks an eyebrow, sweeping his hand back through his hair once more, and his cloak dramatically rippling out to his left, even though he's sat down. He had to lean forward slightly just to allow the cloak enough movement to be able to do so. You would be surprised what the very best might manage.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately the worst boss isn't a lich, it's actually scheduling. But no. Lyrone seems taken aback. It's too much. Those are some weird tracks.
Yeah, I don't quite know what's going on. What with rhythm? That was meant to be like just like the casual acoustic like.
Oh, I thought this was Syrinscape. I was going to be like Syrinscape, weird ass fucking music at inappropriate times.
No. Syrinscape, I stopped playing music quite a while ago. Tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect rhythm, and then I will force it to play.
How could you?
How could I?
Better good.
And then I'll force it to play my playlist. There we go.
I feel calm and
This is
happy.
what everyone wants during their casual RP.
This is our downtime, you know?
Right.
Let's not have weird fucking wobbly alien music.
Yeah, I'm sure YouTube copyrights will get me all over for it, because that was not what the playlist I was meant to be playing. Anyway, so while Lyrone and this noble figure are having this conversation, meanwhile Ravenous is over at this side table watching really as this braided greasy lady is downing drinks and getting a little bit of the worse for wear as a result of it. And you see there's like wobble to her posture as she's saying, sorry?
I said great.
Great. And she's like, you are good out there.
I'm just gonna... I know. And then, like, pick the flower out of my hair and twizzle it. Like, yeah. And then pop it back in again. It's like, so how do you guys feel about trying to split a dragon whiskey?
Dragon whiskey? And you see two out of the three are just like sort of almost exasperated with the idea of it. Like, no. But
And I just go, well, if you can handle it.
And at that, Greasy Weasel Man, his eye has been fixed upon Ravenous throughout this, and he's like, okay. I think I can split that, yes.
Alright, let's do this. So, everyone put in your money.
And the other two are just like, nah. But Weasel Man, he takes out the required 5 silver.
I will bring out the other 5 silver. I'm going to take that out of my money.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much money. Alright. A whiskey each. I think I can afford that. I don't know what Whiskey Man sounded like a minute ago.
He was like, oh, yes, okay.
Right. I think I can handle 5 silver. Yes. And he
Let's
just takes
do
out
this.
5 silver. And you take out your 5 silver. He's got it in his hand. He's like, Mildred, dragon whiskies, 2 over here. And she dutifully brings them over. And it's two single shot measures of dragon whiskey brought over to your sides. And he's like, he picks up his own, hands over the silver. You can see there's a slight pained look to him as he hands over the silver, as if this isn't really something he should be affording. And he takes it up to his lips. All right, so I'm free, yeah?
All right, then. Let's do this.
All right. 1, 2.
We have to clink first.
Okay.
Ready? We go 1, 2, clink, and drink. Okay?
1, 2, clink. 3. And he just shots it back. And you can tell that he's seen this happen before, but he's never really experienced it before. And you can see that he tries to contain it at first, almost by sheer instinct. This belch of flame that starts rocketing up through his throat, gathering in his mouth, and this belch of flame starts erupting up from his mouth, rocketing towards the ceiling. This roaring cloud of flames. How do you do your belch of flames?
I, shot my shot. I well it up in my soul, because I've had this so many times now. I know exactly what's going to happen. And I just, straight up in the air, mushroom cloud.
Yeah, so well practiced in the use of dragon whiskey. This mushroom cloud is erupts from Ravenous.
Oh, and it's purple. FYI.
Oh,
Because I can use my thaumaturgy to change the colour of the lane.
Yeah, or minor illusion, either way, you're able to adjust the texture of it, so it's just this purple flames just start erupting on the other side of the tavern while Lyroon's having this conversation with the adventurers. Tell you what, give me 1 moment, sorry, I need a loo, and then I think we'll be able to wrap this.
I love that it's like you're having a fully exponential discussion about life and death and resurrection, and I'm just there. And I'm just over the other side of the room, I can do mushroom cloud purple birds.
Boiled. But yeah, no, that's how the characters are. You're a silly goofus, which is fine. And Lyroon is a world-weary... Yeah, a world-weary elf who's seen a lot, and the conversation of resurrection would be a lot more different if Lyroon's wife hadn't died of old age.
So that's slightly different,
Because you can't bring her back from old age.
It would
Yeah,
be
even
a
with
very different
25,000.
presentation if you were trying to explain it to Buruk, I suppose.
I mean, I was gonna say, in my opinion of resurrection, it's obviously going outside the bounds of normality and real life. If a person is struck down before their time, I see no reason why they shouldn't be brought back. Whereas, Lyroon's wife, she lived her course. She had her children. She enjoyed her life, and she passed up her own limits. That's fine. That's normal, and there's no reason that Lyra should then bring her back. For there's no reason to. She's already kind of expired. As mean as that sounds, her body's reached its capabilities and its limits.
She's lived a full life. Just
Exactly.
happened to live twice as fast as an elf.
Well, there you
3
go.
times as fast.
So exactly. So it's not. It's not so bad.
It's not so bad.
It's a good reason not to bring them back.
All right. So what's
And
up?
that's why Sam and I should get divorced. No,
Oh wow. Straight in there.
You know how much I love to bring in a really bad joke when you sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke this time. It's serious.
Oh, it's serious. I've told them about all my complaints. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we've actually called the British Secret Service because it's so serious.
All right. What MI number is the British Secret Service? Is it MI 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10?
If I
7,
know
isn't
correctly.
it?
So, if I remember correctly, they created 1, 2, and then just to confuse Germans, the next one was 6.
Ooh. You're all wrong.
What
Wait,
are you talking
it might be
about?
MI6 actually.
It's fucking
I'm very certain it is MI6.
Well, what's MI5?
MI5. Oh no, you're right. MI5 is a thing as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think my
MI5
family
is
mixes it
the
up with.
security
I
service.
think MI5 is internal. MI6 is external.
Yeah, see, it's confusing even to us. So how is
Well,
anyone
of
else
course,
meant to get it?
No.
They're a spy organization. They're supposed to be confusing.
Yeah, all right, that's
I
the way
agree.
you do it. You don't just declare that you're FBI or CIA. You just like, I have a random number. Good luck.
Bye.
Yeah,
I
from what I can say,
With
from
my
what I
little
can
eye.
see, MI5 is liaison with security service. MI6 is secret intelligence service and of foreign office. MI7 is press and propaganda.
I mean, you know one step further than I do.
Yeah.
I just googled this.
Oh. Well, there you
So-
go. Google.
So-
That's the answer.
So, you while away the rest of your evening, sharing drinks and various tales with this strange group of adventurers, securing drinks. Eventually, you were able to get a free drink out of the Greasy Man without it being intercepted by Ponytail Lady.
Nice.
And reveling from your fans. Burke listening in on this strange conversation between adventurers about resurrecting people of significant power and whether that is a good use of the vast amount of gold that's on hand. Lyra contributing to that conversation directly with these unusual group of adventurers. Mostly it seems that the nobleman does most of the talking, but the others seem to have fairly conflicting views upon it. You while away the evening, enjoying the rest of your earnings, enjoying the rest of your drinks and food. Eventually, the plate of it's just a plate of potatoes that's brought out to Lyra. The plate brought out to Brewer is a much more standard fare of just nice, thick, herby-looking sausages brought out and some sides of potatoes. No food is brought out to Ravenous because she didn't request any.
Plus, I've been eating popcorn the entire day.
Yeah, you've been eating popcorn all day, but you get a decent amount of libations thanks to your fans. And you while away the evening and eventually retire to your beds. And I think unless there's anything else, we'll call it there.
I think that's it.
And we are
All right.
one day. Come tomorrow morning, we are one day away from harvest close when all of it goes down. So we'll see what you guys get up to on the day beforehand.
So we took 5 sessions, but this day is finally over.
It's true.
It's true. I mean, we'll see what happens the next day. You might just go, and we sit around all day doing nothing. So it passes
Nothing, and
quickly.
then it's harvest close.
Yeah, that is definitely a viable option. But I doubt you'll do that. So, hopefully you
To be
enjoyed
fair,
that.
we spent 15 hours getting a
Very
15
good.
hours of a day done.
No, we're gonna spend 17 hours to get 15 hours done.
It's like the show 24. You got to do every minute as to pass in real time. So,
Exactly.
hopefully you enjoyed that.
Absolutely.
And we'll see what you guys get up to next week. We'll see what happens. And yeah, cheers everyone. Much
Thank
appreciated.
you.
Thank you to our watchers.
Thanks
And we'll,
everybody.
however
Ooh,
many
how
of
I
them.
just want to call out we had a
7.
group dog today. Loved that name.
Yeah. You know, we had a 9 at one point, I think, but yeah, 7 now.
Quite a few.
Thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Take it easy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.